You're watching the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network. Now it's time for the Brent and Austen Show.
Here we go. This is what we needed at 10 in the morning. Brian Thomas Jr. Shoulder looking crisp. Oh!
Video is from yesterday.
Still, give him 6. Even though he's wearing number 7. We'll assume Cam Little made the fictional PAT. But the point of the story, Brian Thomas Jr. getting some work in at the second day of mandatory minicamp. Little touchdown right there. Look at that. You saw the referee in the background hitting him with a... Appreciate you, bro. We couldn't figure that part out. Action Sports Jacks 24/7 Network. Brent and Austen Show. Brent, where is Brent today? Yesterday he was skydiving. The first day he was on his 3rd honeymoon. Brent today... Oh, I forgot. He's sailing off the coast of...
New England.
New England, thank you. I couldn't remember where he was. So Brent is sailing. He will not be with us today. Okay. Austen Lane may join us in a little bit. Did you shave?
I did. Yep.
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure you had a beard yesterday.
I did, yep. I had to. That was like the one thing that didn't make it in the move was my electric razor.
Oh.
So I was letting it go.
Okay.
And then now my wife's coming back into town.
So
I had to clean it up a little bit.
Interesting. So she is a believer in the no beard?
Yeah, she says I look like 35 when I have a mustache, which is like I was full mustache for like 2 years before I met her.
Interesting. Yeah.
Remember that?
That's how I think of you.
Yeah. And she thought I was like 35 apparently or something.
You know what's weird about that is I obviously, I got a situation afoot here.
Right.
But my wife will not let me, shave all of it.
Wow.
I haven't had straight, no hair on my face since, high school.
Seriously?
Swear.
Dang, good for you.
Mm-hmm. That's real. And yet, there's still one part won't grow. It's been, 9 years, but yet it still won't grow. I don't know what's going on there. And it's really, it used to really make me mad, but now I've moved on to just acceptance in that part of the denial. That being said, I just told you I was in high school 9 years ago. Mm-hmm. You brought up seconds ago Roman Anthony, now on the Boston Red Sox. He was the number 1 prospect in baseball. They call him up. He was born in 2004. And you were pretty flabbergasted by that. And I was like, yeah, it happens. And then you shared a piece of knowledge that I just can't fully wrap my head around, that you were born in the year 2000.
I was.
That's unbelievable. I never really thought about it because, here's the thing, Hamby. My whole gimmick, the whole time that I've talked into a microphone, was being younger than everybody, right? Used to clown Brent, still will. Used to clown Austen, still will. Used to clown Schachter, still would if the opportunity presented itself. Even Brian Middleton, significantly older than I was, right? Mm-hmm. So my whole gimmick was to clown old people. I don't like this dynamic at all.
I mean, you knew it, though.
I did, but I never really thought about it. Because, I think most people would agree there's, a hard separator.
Sure.
Of, the 2000s. I can't believe this.
I choose to put that separator in 2001.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't work that way at all.
Well, it's okay.
But, you can do what you want to do. But, yeah, I am, I'm not okay with this at all. The one good thing about being born in 2000, though, is, you always know how old you are.
Exactly. And it's helped quite a few times.
I play this game all the time. Am I 27? Am I 28? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not good at the math part of it. I was born in 97. But, yeah, you've thrown me off for the whole show with the born in 2000 thing. I personally don't think they should hire people born in 2000 or, going forward.
Just start in 2001. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, it just makes me feel old, and I don't like that part.
You know how old Travis Hunter is?
How old Travis Hunter is? It would have to be...
What year he was born?
18, 19, 20, 21. So he'd been born in 2003. 3 or 4? Yeah, something like that. Is it 3?
Yeah. May of 2003.
How does that make you feel?
That makes me feel old. Part of the best thing about sports when you were a kid was that everyone was so much older than you. They seemed so much bigger than you, and you looked up to them.
Yeah.
Now the biggest superstars I'm older than.
Yeah. Welcome to reality, buddy.
I know. It's just like,
Tough spot to be in, ain't it?
yeah. I mean, I was already get off my lawn well beyond my ears, but I feel like this is only going to make it worse.
Yeah, this is not going to
realization.
help the situation one bit. I'll give you when it start, like, I stopped thinking about it, but it was weird for a bit. And it's still, like, sort of kind of is weird because, again, goes back to another business that I run on the side here, autographs, right? For a while, I was roughly the same age as these folks, or, like, they were older than me. And now it's like, I don't like this too much. Like,
Yeah.
I'm, 27 and...
You feel like Zack Hample.
Yeah, kind of. A little bit, right? I don't love it. I don't love that part of it.
How would you explain who that guy is to somebody who has no idea?
How would I explain who Zack Hample is to somebody that doesn't know? He is a guy that travels the world and catches home run balls in batting practice and or regular or during 9-inning baseball games at various places around the country. Uses like some data, if you will, to sit in certain spots where he thinks home run balls are going to go, and then he steals them from kids. Is that pretty accurate?
I think so.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Is he one of the most hated people in MLB?
Yeah, definitely. Like, he is not beloved. I'll give you that. People are sick of him. He got thrown out of somewhere recently. For it might have been the Rays. They might have thrown him out of the Rays for, like, reaching over. I'll have to check. I think he got thrown out of somewhere recently, but yeah, people don't like that guy. People don't like that guy one bit. Hamby's Burner says party like it's 1999. Still older than 99. I hate that part too. Kasey, it's okay to start accepting UNC status at 27. That's where we're at, I guess, apparently. Conan O'Brien used to have a bit about Hamby's birth year. I bet there's a lot of bits about being born in like 2000.
Probably.
It's like a popular one. What month is your birthday in?
December.
Oh!
Yeah, I barely cracked it.
So you're right there.
Yeah.
Dang. That's wild. Before Christmas or after?
Before the 4th.
4th of December. How about that? I had a friend that their birthday was Christmas.
Sucks.
Yeah, he didn't love it. He was not...
you get one round of presents.
Exactly. Yeah, he was not the world's biggest fan of being born on that day. But
Wasn't the biggest fan of being born.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't love
that
it.
day.
On that day.
Like, make sure we add that.
He's never complained about the born part to me, but the specific part about the presents thing, he was pretty upset about for an extended period of time. Now he's a rancher in Montana.
Sweet. Did you just like pick up one day and decide to go over there?
It's a great question because I haven't really talked to him in a while, but like, you on Facebook, Hamby?
I have one, yes.
You know how, like, you'll just be on there and someone will pop up that you haven't talked to in 5 years, but you're friends with them because you went to high school with them.
Yep.
It's like, oh, you have 4 kids? Or something like, something like will just pop.
Yeah.
He was randomly on a horse in Montana, and I was like, I thought you lived in the cul-de-sac, dog. What the heck happened? So I don't know how it happened. I don't know how it transpired, but he's like a rancher. I don't know if he was watching Yellowstone and got inspired. Like, I'm not...
Like Brent.
Is Brent going to be a rancher?
Well, he's the biggest Yellowstone fan, apparently.
He does like Yellowstone. He is a big Yellowstone guy.
Because Austen always will ask him to watch all these different shows, and Brent's like, yeah, I watch Yellowstone.
He does love it. I'll give you that. Have you seen it?
No.
Yeah, me neither. Terry Norvell was actually talking down to Yellowstone. I was like, you better be careful. Don't let Brent hear you, because there might be a war of old dudes right here in the studio between Brent and Terry Norvell. So, all right. Anyway, sports. We'll make our way there.
Yep.
Steven says started 9th grade in high school. Isn't that the thing? 9th, 10th, 11th. Isn't that how it goes?
What's
right?
he talking about?
Did I miss something?
I think I missed something.
9th grade is high school, right? Am I
Is he
wrong?
bragging that he started 9th grade in high school?
I feel like I did.
Everybody did.
Okay, that's what I'm just checking on.
Oh, maybe they do it. No.
No, because 9, 10, 11, 12.
Yeah.
Because there's no 13. That's college.
Oh, we started 9th grade in high school in 2000. We missed that.
Oh, I'm an idiot. Sorry.
Yep.
Dang. Now I can go back to clowning old people. I'm just kidding.
Right.
Appreciate you being here. Landman. People watch Landman. Have you seen that? Is that that's the Billy Bob Thornton one, right?
No idea.
Really?
Before I would love to continue this. I would love to point out to the people that you will be hearing from Travis Hunter today. You will be hearing from Walker Little, a one-on-one with Action Sports Jack's Marcel Robinson.
Okay.
You will also be hearing from Laquent Allen Jr. There's a lot of hype about this guy, Kasey, that if he makes the roster, he could be the third down back already. And it's like, where's the Tootin hype?
That's you're leading. You might need to make a Twitter page.
For Laquent Allen?
No, for Tootin. You're a big Tootin guy.
I mean, he was drafted in the 4th round.
So
Laquent Allen was drafted in the 7th round.
Listen, I remember when we didn't pick him. I remember when we came in here after the draft, and I had, one of my glorious bits that was draft trivia.
Yes.
And if you remember, your leading yards from scrimmage human in college football last year that they picked was Laquent Allen.
It's true. It's true.
Your most touchdowns from anybody that they picked in college football last year, including Heisman Trophy winner Travis Hunter, Laquent Allen scored more touchdowns. So, I thought it was a steal late in the draft. Now, I was not going to sit here and tell you that I think he's going to be a huge factor. Maybe he will, right? Maybe surprise us. But we'll see. He's here for a reason. They picked him. They didn't let him get to undrafted free agency, right? They said, we want this guy here, even if we have to pay him a little more. And we'll see what happens. Again, I'm not going to get too excited about running back number 4 on your depth chart that only is going to make the team probably if he brings you some special teams stuff, which I think we talked about the other day. So we'll see what that looks like, but you will hear from him.
We will.
Later or at some point in the show today. Also, I believe we got Let's Go Fishing.
We do have Let's Go Fishing. Paul Dozier joins us at 11:30 ahead of this week's tournament. Here we go, old school
Kingfish shootout.
Let's do this thing, baby.
Expanded boundaries.
That grand prize is serious.
Oh, yeah.
You know what that is?
I do. It's a yellowfin bay boat.
Yeah. You know how much those things are worth?
I do. Valued at $125,000.
Atta baby.
This is a good flyer.
That's a great flyer. They know how to make flyers over there.
I'll tell you what. This is the best flyer I've ever held because it gives you all of the information you need to know, how much money you could potentially win, where is it at, how much the boat is worth, and then there's a whole back. There's a whole back with more information about the Daily's Old School Kingfish Shootout presented by Yellowfin, which we will tell you more about at 11:30. I believe we have some fishing pictures. If you want to get yours in, not today because we don't have access to what I'm about to tell you, but if you'd like to see yourself next week on the Brent and Austen Show, sports at actionnewsjacks.com
baby
is where you can send those pictures in. And you could do everybody a solid and go to actionsportsjacks.com if you're on the computer right now. I see some of you are on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, wherever. Open a separate tab, actionsportsjacks.com. Just go there. The show will start playing. We appreciate it. But also, Daniel Griffiths with a couple articles. We'll try to talk about both of them today, but definitely one of them we will get to. But you could just go ahead and pregame for that conversation and go read the article right now on actionsportsjacks.com. Randy says, Tootin fumbles. I mean, there is a little bit of that.
We've heard of one.
It's funny. Like, to that point, you fumble once, and it's like...
Oh, you're a fumbler.
Like, listen, it's happened as long as there's been football. Like,
seriously.
And you have to kind of lose that stigma, unfortunately, in Jacksonville.
People probably still think ETN is a fumbler. The guy fumbled one time last year.
He fumbled one time last year.
And 500 touches.
In a really bad spot, and I'm not co-signing that he's a fumbler, right? But he fumbled a couple times early in his career, and that was a conversation for
a long time.
Tank Bigsby fumbled on like the first play he touched the football in the NFL,
yep.
One of the first plays in Indianapolis, and fumbled a couple other times. Like, they've gone through this with their running backs, and hopefully they don't have to go through it again with a guy like Tootin or Laquent Allen. But it does make me laugh. And Randy, I'm not making fun of you or anything. I just think like that's every team, right? If Chase Brown's up there fumbling in Cincinnati just once, they're like fumbler.
Yeah. Randy, Travis Hunter we don't believe is joining the fishing tournament. Daniel says Tootin was known for fumbling in college. We'll see. They're teaching the tuck right now.
They're teaching the tuck is crazy.
Yeah. Again, we'll hear from Laquent Allen later in the show, but we want to start today with a potential concern because Liam Coen has talked to the media each of the last 2 days. He will speak to the media again today. Mm-hmm. We've heard of him multiple times over training camp. And as you know, what makes it slightly difficult to pull a lot from hearing from him is just because it's going to be positive about every guy.
Yeah.
Right? That's why it's like, okay, is everybody having a great mini camp? Is everybody having a great OTA? Is everybody showing a ton of progress? Everybody's a hard worker. Not saying that he's making it up.
Sure.
But
what are you going to say?
I am going to say, yeah, like what is he supposed to say? What is it? Who is it helping? Why would it be any benefit to anyone if he was critical? However, there are some times where a sentence or two is said that you can try and draw some conclusions from that might be not the biggest endorsement per se. It wasn't critical, but it wasn't all that praise. Like, it wasn't that.
We love what you're doing.
Right.
Hasn't made a misstep yet.
Right.
Sure.
And perhaps the first one of this offseason came yesterday.
Ooh.
When Liam Coen was asked about Anton Harrison.
Uh-oh.
So we're going to play that for you.
All right.
And the question is, are we digging too deep? Or is there a legitimate yikes? Just wish that wouldn't have been said.
Let's see what we got.
Here we go.
Yeah, I think obviously the footwork, the athleticism, the ability to pass pro on an edge. And when Anton wants to go, he can go. And just consistently doing it on a day in, day out basis. Smart. He understands the why of what we're trying to get accomplished. But as much as he can continue to rise going into year 3, and as a first-round pick to take a huge step this year and be a lockdown tackle for us.
When Anton wants to go, he can go. Does that mean he doesn't always want to go?
Yeah, to Liam Cohen's credit, right, there's a lot of compliments in there, as you talked about. Kind of slides that part in. It's definitely the part of that stood out to me the most, right? I think if you asked him to clarify those comments, he would probably say, like, that's not in a negative way, obviously. But it's interesting because I think it's what we talked about the other day about Anton Harrison. I think it's been the conversation about Anton Harrison the majority of the time he's been a Jacksonville Jaguar. There are some really good moments, and there are some head-scratching moments as well, right? And the unfortunate part, I think, about playing tackle in that situation is if you get absolutely demolished on a rep, we all see it. We don't know what he was supposed to do, right? We assume he was supposed to, block the guy in front of him, but that might not have been the situation, right? There's all these, as talked about many times, there's different calls, there's different whatever you're trying to do. It may not always be your fault, but the unfortunate part of it, again, is at tackle. It is obvious if something goes wrong out there. And you've seen a lot of good from Anton Harrison. You've seen some not so good. And Randy said a couple of seconds ago, like, you got to be consistent. Could be his last year here. All that is true. He's got to play well. There's no doubt about it. But in terms of what you're asking, I don't think you have to dig too deep to kind of hear what Liam Coen said there. And not great, but also not like, I think, a huge major alarm. But they do need consistency from a guy like Anton Harrison. I think that's the biggest piece of what sets you for going forward with Anton Harrison. Can you get more consistency? Is that something Liam Coen and this regime can coach out of him? Or is that just kind of the player he is? A couple of plays are good, a couple of plays are bad. And are they okay with that once they see what it looks like on the field? I guess only time will tell.
Yeah, I think, we did have this conversation. It was either yesterday or the day before. We were a day or two early where we're like, well, if you have to pick one between Anton and Walker Little to be, what was the term we used? It was a high-level play.
Who are you more confident to play at a high level?
Right. You'd probably say, that's a good one because you've seen more consistent play from Walker Little, but you've seen flashes from Anton Harrison. And, yeah, we were a day late or a day early on that because that's pretty much exactly what Liam Coen is saying. It's like you see the flashes, you see the footwork, and that's what we kind of heard when we drafted him. I know it that I was shocked when we made that pick. I just didn't see it coming. And I think I speak for a lot of people. But then what we're hearing is unbelievable speed and footwork for a guy his size. That was that was him, right, coming out. And I think that's still true because that's what we always heard about, why he could be elite, because not many guys who are that big and strong can move like he can. Well, we get here, though, and we're 2 years in. We're entering year 3, and we're still unsure of what the floor is, of what we're going to get day in and day out, every Sunday.
Yep.
And my next thing is, like, am I concerned about the mental and the effort that he's not bringing 100% day in and day out?
Mm-hmm.
Or is it just that the skill set doesn't apply every play? Right? Because I think it can be, hopefully it's not both.
Right.
But I think it can be either or. Because he can be, this could not be an effort problem. This could be he's going 100%. His motor's there.
Mm-hmm.
But the skills and what he's been coached to do 2 years now has still not gotten there 100%. Or it could be what he's been taught is there. He's just not given 100% every single snap. What's more concerning?
I mean, concerning would always be effort, in my opinion, right? I think if you're not given 100% every snap, then that's a problem, right? That's the biggest problem to me, because listen, we have been critical of the last regime here in Jacksonville in terms of coaching and how they were coaching. So if you were going to tell me that part wasn't fully computing with Anton Harrison for whatever reason, I would probably sit here and blame the coaching staff over the player, right? And I would say Liam Coen and this staff should have the opportunity to fix said player, and fix isn't the right term because, again, you have seen good from Anton Harrison. But if it's an effort thing, that's a problem. And you mentioned something about mentality, and somebody had something in the chat about it. I missed the name a couple minutes ago, going back to the ETN fumble that we talked about a minute ago to start the season, the mentality of that. And the part that always kind of never gets talked about that I appreciate is the mentality of, like, just take your offensive line, right? You're not going to win every rep, barring being like, Joe Thomas, who I'm sure lost some reps from time to time, but was great, right? Tony Baselli, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the part that I always appreciate is the mentality of, like, there's a scenario. You go into a game, probably not thinking this, but your subconscious knows that at some point you're going to end up on your back, destroyed, blown up on a play. And you got to get up and be like, all right, damn, here we go again. Like, can't let that happen. Like, I appreciate that part that we never talk about, right? So I think there's a lot there in the mentality of, first off, any athlete, any football player, and the offensive line especially. But I think all of that with the right coaching staff can be, I'm going to use the word fixed, even though it may not be broken, but can be fixed. You can kind of build off of that. Where if it's an effort problem, that may not be fixable, right? And again, we don't know what that situation is, but if I'm in a coaching situation and you coach, right? It's harder to get through to the person that doesn't really care every single play,
right?
Versus the person who does care, just maybe isn't getting it. And those are two things you got to balance. Again, hopefully it's we just got to get through here and have this guy play on a more consistent basis, whether that's getting him in a different mindset or any of that stuff. We'll see. I do think it's an interesting... The whole Anton Harrison thing has been interesting, as you mentioned, because you showed my tweets yesterday where I was at during that draft, but a rare time that the Jacksonville Jaguars are not picking high in the draft, right? And in that draft, I don't remember the names, but there were definitely a few other tackles because Anton Harrison was not first, second, third tackle.
100%.
And if you were, there's some people, like I saw Kevin was in the chat a minute ago. I know he was listening on radio when we were doing this, Kilkenny, obviously, and a bunch of others. But, like, me and Brent came in that day, and very rarely can the Jags do something that Brent is, like, flabbergasted. He was completely and utterly didn't expect it in a million years. And that's when I was like, oh, okay, like, that's interesting. Listen, a lot of people were shocked when they made that move. And in retrospect, like, I still think they need a corner. But outside of that, like, although it hasn't been great all the time, the Anton Harrison pick probably was a good one because he's been there.
Right.
You moved him positions, which was interesting in the beginning, which we talked about. But, like, he's been there more times than not on the field, has given you some good, and there's still some intrigue about how much good he can give you. Like, obviously, he's a first-round pick, so I wish I was sitting here telling you he's the greatest right tackle to ever play the sport. He's not.
Sure.
But it, to this point, has kind of sort of worked. I'd argue with you about Christian Gonzalez, but that point is in the past. It doesn't matter anymore. Bobby said Coen chose his words strategically. He knows Anton can be a top 10-15 tackle. He just wants to light a fire under him. Yeah.
Potentially.
Potentially. I hope you're right.
Yeah. Here's where I go with this case. I think that, I mean, especially after those comments yesterday from Liam Coen, and this was before that, but also I saw some more of it yesterday. I think there is a undeservingly high sense of comfortability with the Jags' backup offensive line just because we went out and signed a couple free agents. Like, I could be, taking a couple of things I've seen and applying it to more people, but I kind of get the sense that a lot of fans are like, yeah, just throw in Fred Johnson or Adoga if he doesn't want to, keep improving.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I'm not trying to slide him, but like, you're going to be very concerned if either of those two guys are starting for you in the first couple weeks of the year.
Yes.
You just are.
I agree with that.
They're here for a reason, and look at their contracts. Does the contract always match the play of a player? No, I'm not saying it does, but I'm saying it's probably a decent indicator, especially from a Jaguars team that was not trying to go out and spend a bunch of money. They were not overpaying anybody.
I mean,
maybe De'Ami Brown got $1 million more than you think he did, but $10 million for a receiver is not a lot.
Sure. And to your point there, like, especially in the offensive line contract-wise, if you're going to protect a guy who has been injured multiple times in Trevor Lawrence, if you're not getting paid where other look around the league and guys that start get paid at that spot, they don't plan for that person to protect the guy that's been hurt a lot.
Right.
To your point.
Right. So it's not my point with that is just it's not as easy as just throw in Fred Johnson, throw in Adoga, who's more of a guard than a tackle to begin with, throw in Milam. Not that easy. The guy's a guard. Right. Is he 6'6", 320? Yes. So can he probably play tackle? Maybe if he puts on a little bit more weight. Right? I'm not going to doubt his skill set, but I'm just saying it's not that easy to where it's just like, oh, yeah. I mean, if Anton doesn't want to like throw in somebody else. Like, I think this is a little bit more reason for concern. And I'm not saying that Anton is going to be terrible this year. No, I don't think that at all. But I'm just saying for how positive Coen has been for every player so far this entire offseason. When I hear, yeah, he can go when he wants to go, he can go. That's like, all right, like, what's going on?
Yeah. No, and listen, I think there's a lot of real what you just said there. And again, I agree with Bobby to a point where it's like, at times you got to say things to light a fire, if you will. I think that was the exact what he said. And it's funny to me to hear you say, like, kind of some of the reaction to the offensive line stuff. Oh, just put somebody else there, right? The biggest complaint for me about picking Anton Harrison was he was a left tackle. And you've done this in Jacksonville, and we've always had this conversation in Jacksonville. Why are you drafting people and then moving them to a position they did not play? And you did that with Anton Harrison. You moved him from left to right. And I remember going, so let me get this straight. Not only did you not pick a position of need, you are going to take him and put him somewhere that he's never played. And for some reason, that just felt like something that the Jags were in big believers in doing for a while. So if you're going to tell me that, like, a guy you picked in the third round this year, this regime, has the size maybe to play tackle but never has done it, like you just said, then don't. If he's a guard, he's a guard. You know what I mean? And I like the idea that they're not going to try to do stuff like that anymore in Jacksonville, because I never think that's a recipe for success. And somebody said it a couple chats ago, like, Coen's positive until there's a surprise trade or a random release, something. we're not going to be talking about that with Anton Harrison. That's not the situation here, I believe. I think Anton Harrison's your right tackle. And I think that they hope that he's the right tackle for the next 5 years after this year.
Right. Yeah, they definitely hope he's getting a second contract here.
Yes. Because, again, we talked about this part yesterday, like, you open up another hole that you don't want to open up. And he's got to be good for that to happen. Somebody else in the chat said they think it's his last year here, which is not out of the realm of possibility, right? It's wild to say, but I think you're just as close to second contract as you are to not here.
Yeah, which is the definition of, hey, third year, prove it year. And you've got to improve.
And Anton's got to push them or he will push them in one way or the other, but I think we would all agree that you want to be pushed in that second contract way. And maybe this is the start of Liam Coen trying to push him in that direction, because maybe Liam Coen sees talent, identifies the talent in Anton Harrison, and says, damn, if I could just get this much more. And again, Liam Coen can learn a whole lot more right now than we can or anybody watching. But let's hope that's the case.
Because we heard from the offensive line coach, Sean Serrett, Tuesday.
Yep.
And although the words weren't as poignant, you kind of got that vibe as well.
100%.
For Anton.
That's right.
Right? It was just like, potential.
Mm-hmm.
He can be an unbelievable right tackle in the National Football League.
Yeah.
Those are the words that are used. Whereas most of the time when these guys are asked about specific players, they talk about what they're doing and what they have just done. He's gotten a lot better over OTAs. I've seen this progress, right? Or at least he's learning. He's getting a lot better, right? It's all about the playbook, right? It's hard to tell. Then with Anton, it's like, yeah, he can be. But we already knew that, is my point.
Yeah.
We've known for 2 years what he can be. But when are we going to see? This is just who he is. And again, Anton might pitch a clean sheet from the right tackle spot for the first 4 weeks of the season. I'm not saying I'm concerned about that. I'm just concerned about what are we going to get all year long.
Mm-hmm. The chat just a second ago said classic bulky O-line pick, athletic finesse player, but not physical at all. I forget the name. I'm sorry. It was just there, but it cycled out. And to that point and to the point you just made. Ryan Williams, thank you. Not the receiver from Alabama, I assume. No. But if you are that human, then that's cool too. But if not, that's also great. To that point and to the point you just said, I wonder though, and I think you could look at it this way, are some of those comments more to Anton Harrison, which is probably the answer, but also is there some of it there that's looking at how he was coached before they got here? Is that Liam Coen and his staff identifying, okay, they taught him this and this and they wanted him to do this, but in reality we think he's a better player, here doing something else? I don't know, but I think that's an interesting thought, only because I won't say no, but we believe that the coaching was somewhat interesting the last couple of years around here. So I wonder if that's them saying, we know this guy has talent. We know he can play well, but we have to fix him from the whatever he was taught coming into the league at a position that he did not know. And that's what they think is going to take more time. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It's interesting. But yeah, to the overall point, which you started with, Liam Coen not saying a whole lot of anything even slightly negative about anybody. And I don't know that I would categorize this as negative, but it is positive adjacent, I guess, is where I'll go with that. Sounds like not good news out of the Houston Texans with Jimmy Ward. Not good, if that is indeed true. Not too much to say on it, even if it is true, to be completely honest with you. Crash out organization.
I do have something that is true. Travis Hunter, in the last couple of minutes, has switched jerseys and is switching from offense to defense mid-practice for the first time. That is per Olivia A.S. Jacks down at minicamp.
Shout out, Liv.
Yeah, and so this is something that Liam Coen said 2 weeks ago, I believe.
Okay.
We would see at some point most likely, but not until training camp. Because it would be too much right now to ask for him to go back and forth during a practice. He's like, at some point, yeah, like training camp, it'll be inevitable. Like, he's got to do it because he's going to play in the, But right now, we're trying to give him so much information, playbook, that we're just doing one at a time. But here we go. Last day before the summer break. We're mixing it up.
It's good.
First time.
I got no problem with this. Obviously, I think this is something that would get everybody excited. It's a good note to throw in there. Shout out Liv for tweeting that and letting us know that that's what's going on down there. It's
I did forget the breaking news sound, Kenny.
Do we have one of those?
I don't know.
So then no. It sounds like we do not have a breaking news sound. I guess we'll gotta make one. That's fine. Down, down, down. Your music, like, why am I doing that?
I don't know. I just wanted. I mean, I was kind of
pull out your piano app and play something.
Maybe later.
Known musical genius Jason Hamby. It's exciting. It's kind of what you should be expecting here from everything we have heard. We'll see if it goes well, according to Liv, right? I don't know how you really judge if it goes well.
Right. Especially in zone.
See,
in 7-on-7 zone.
That's a great point. Yeah.
Like, they're supposed to get cooked, kind of.
Yeah. So, like, I never really thought about this until this second. I have not thought about this for more than 2 seconds, all right? So if this is stupid, then just ignore it.
No problem.
In theory, wouldn't you expect him, when switching to defense against his own team, that he knows the offensive playbook?
No, they talked about that.
Okay.
They did, yeah. They were like,
he should be right there, right?
Yeah, like we have to like make adjustments because Travis, like, he knows.
Right. So I guess that's a good thing, like, for the offense, right, to kind of have to change things up or, because, listen, not every game is going to go to script, right?
Right.
What is the plan? How do you adjust to the plan? This is something that I feel like, and this is going to sound bad, but, no reason to save face at this point. I feel like this is something Doug Peterson could not have navigated, right? As we talked about multiple times, or you guys talked about multiple times, I should say. What's the plan? We don't know. What was the fix to the plan? We certainly don't know.
Yeah.
Liam Coen has to have somewhat of a kind of different thing to run in practice to avoid Travis Hunter standing where the receiver is going to end up, right? Like, that's kind of what that would look like.
Yeah.
I'm sure Travis Hunter wouldn't just, like, stand there, but he knows the
He's
play.
going to jump every route if he knows what's coming.
Exactly. So I like the idea that from the Liam Coen standpoint of, like, okay, we kind of got to hold some stuff here. On the flip side of that, does that do Travis Hunter a disservice? Subconsciously, maybe? The idea of, like, and I'm not saying that he does this, but the idea of instead of reacting, it's I kind of generally have an idea of where this is going to go versus when we play Carolina, you can't possibly know what they're going to do.
Yeah, I feel like there's enough wrinkles and there's enough plays to where he's, not knowing everything before the snap. If he is, at least it's reinforcement of what he's going to do on offense, which every fan would tell you is more important anyway.
That's right.
So he's still getting that mental rep from knowing what the offense is going to do on, enforcing that play. But he still gets to, at least practice the footwork, communicate with the defense. The rest of the defense doesn't know what's going on.
Fair.
So I'm sure they're finding a way, whether he has to cover his ears or not,
right,
or wear, noise-canceling AirPods for a few seconds while they're calling out the play,
Yeah, could work. Interesting, though. And Travis Hunter switching mid-practice from offense to defense. I'll tell you what, I know there's no fans there, obviously, because they did that yesterday. Could you imagine the roar of the people? If that happened yesterday, people would be losing their absolute minds. I'm sure people are losing their minds right now reading Liv's tweet.
they might be.
Wild world we're living in. Wild world we're living in. Ryan Williams says, I agree with the last regime. Feels like Rauscher didn't develop any O-line under his coaching. Kilkenny says Rauscher was loved and respected but didn't make improvements. Typical O-line guy, right? I remember some of that sound from Phil Rauscher. And listen, I can't argue with either point. Like, did their offensive line get better in a couple year span? No. Like, you could argue it got worse at times. Your quarterback was hurt multiple times. I'm not saying it's all in the offensive line, but I am saying that's why they're there, right? All right. Paid Walker Little. All right. We'll see. But, yeah, wild times in Jacksonville. Talking offensive line for the first 40 minutes in June.
Hey, we talked about this guy.
Travis Hunter. Mustard yellow sleeve. What a world. I think we'll hear from Travis Hunter later in the show. He talked to the media yesterday. I do want to remind you, he talked to Brent A.S. Jacks before the rest of the media. Why did I just call him Brent A.S. Jacks? Did you catch that?
I did.
Why did I do that?
Go.
I was in autopilot completely. I have no idea what happened there. He talked to Brent Martineau before, and you heard all of that right here on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network, Action News Jacks on Twitter, all over the place, and you can go watch it anytime on Twitter and YouTube and all of those places. But you will hear from Travis Hunter a little bit later today. Austen Lane will join us. We'll go fishing at some point in the show, so a lot to do before we get out of here at 1 o'clock. We'll be right back.
When it's time to get a new car for anyone in your family, just remember, nobody but Nimnick, the #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville. Get the latest price breaks on 2023 and 2024 models or the newest 2025 vehicles in the showroom on Phillips Highway or shop online at nimnickbuickgmc.com 24 hours a day. GMC Sierras, Yukons, and the redesigned Acadias, or get the all-new redesigned line with Buicks. It's nobody but Nimnick, and part of the reason why is this is a first-class buying experience here at Nimnick Buick GMC. You're not just a customer, you're a friend. This is about getting a vehicle that best fits you and getting you on the road, and also helping you and your family down the road. Nimnick has a treating you right guarantee, courtesy, respect, fairness, and most Buicks, GMCs, and Jacksonville's only Car Bravo dealer, nobody but Nimnick. Who has put in the most years and stands behind a better experience? Nobody but Nimnick. GMC. We are professional grade.
If you look good, you feel good. And the medical professionals here at Ponte Vedra Vein and Aesthetics are here to make you feel your best. I'm on camera every week, and I have a confession to make. I'm not always confident in my appearance. Can you see my dark circles? Is my makeup highlighting my fine lines instead of covering them up? I question it all. So when I found out about the wide variety of procedures here at Ponte Vedra Vein and Aesthetics, I knew help was just one appointment away. Medical Director Dr. Megan Deacon Casey and her board-certified physicians have been using the latest in cutting-edge technology for the last 10 years, giving men and women their personal confidence boost. From Botox, fillers, Morpheus 8, and so much more. The hardest part was figuring out what I needed. Thankfully, the medical team walked me through what would work best for me through a free consultation. Come look and feel your best with the team here at Ponte Vedra Vein and Aesthetics. Visit them at one of their 2 locations, either over in Ponte Vedra or on the south side.
I've been telling you about CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing for a long time now. Their drinking water systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. We've had a Connecticut water softener and drinking water system in our home for more than 7 years. You can see the difference whether you're washing clothes, the dishes, or what I like to do most, fill this up for some coffee every morning, and mostly all day. Remember, if you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. Right now, you can get a free Connecticut reverse osmosis system with a purchase of a Connecticut Premier Softener. The experts at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing will test your water for free and determine your water score. Don't know your water score? CGC will find out and recommend the appropriate Connecticut water treatment solutions so you can improve it. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. Ask about our 90-day love it or leave it guarantee. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1432579.
Empower a future, inspire a dream. It's a bold but simple mission for the Jacksonville Police Athletic League known as Jax PAL. Help the next generation of kids in Jacksonville shape a brighter future. their after-school programs, teenage leadership programs. There's community outreach.
This has been just an awesome opportunity to be out here with my colleagues and do something good for the community. It's really been an interesting opportunity to just see everybody work together in a way that we don't normally in the office.
And there's sports. There are also ways you can help the next generation with a donation of any kind. Just visit jaxpal.org to get more information. Empower a future, inspire a dream with Jax Pal.
Most of us know how to throw. But you need to know what to throw. I'm not talking about footballs, baseballs, softballs. We're talking about those items you need to recycle. Republic Services explains it easy. Recycling simplified. 1. Know what to throw. When in doubt, throw it out. 2. Empty, clean, and dry those materials. It takes an extra minute, but it makes a big difference. And 3. Don't bag it. This makes the recycling process faster and more efficient. This is a look at the Republic Services North Florida Recycling Center. You can make this process even more efficient. By utilizing those 3 steps, Republic Services can help you become a better recycler in your home. Learn more at recyclingsimplified.com.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austen Show, streaming on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network.
Getting some work in. Look at that. That right there correlates to wins. Excellent. I wish, though. If only it was that easy. Here in Jacksonville. We have learned over the years. It is not. But last day of mandatory minicamp for the Jacksonville Jaguars. It is 6 billion degrees outside. That is from Mike Burrish. He said it himself. 6 billion degrees. Or Corey Sima, that's actually who's here today. So how about that, right? Isn't Corey here?
Yeah.
Yeah,
How do you know that?
Saw his car in the parking lot. Only one rocking the OU front.
Yeah, Big Thunder fan, Corey Sema.
Well, that would make sense.
Yep. Big Thunder fan.
So not feeling great, huh?
Didn't ask him today.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, Corey Sima. Yeah, makes sense. Oklahoma City fan. Oklahoma Sooner fan. Even has a license plate on his car with the Oklahoma Sooners. Shout out to them for that. Got you covered on the weather, apparently. Didn't know this was going to turn into a weather tease. But at noon, you know what? The one place I have no clue where the shows are, because there's no sports in them, is noon. Is that a Fox or a CBS-er?
The noon show is on Fox.
Fox 30. You can see Corey Sima talk about weather.
I think. Gosh.
Whoa!
Now I'm second guessing.
Oh, man.
I'm definitely second guessing now.
I think it's CBS.
I'll be able to tell you. It'll either be on one of these screens in
Well, yeah,
an
but-
hour and 15 minutes.
Oh, boy. Shouldn't have backtracked. Should have stayed confident with your answer. If you're higher up watching this, Hamby knows. It's just a gimmick we're running.
Facts.
It's just a big gimmick overall. I'll take the blame. That's on me because there's no repercussions for me. If they come and pull me out of here, I'd be like, thank you. So anyway, we're back at Sports Jax 24/7 Network. Real quick, I just saw this, and then we'll play some Travis Hunter sound. Adam Schefter, Cincinnati's unsigned first-round draft pick Shamar Stewart has now left mandatory minicamp per source. Stewart had been attending team activities, but without a signed contract, and the Bengals asking for certain clauses. He's no longer there. That's the look. This. I know this looks like a picture. This is a live look of Shamar Stewart walking out of camp this morning
With a younger Joe Johnson in the background.
Huh?
How about that?
Now that's a treat. That's something.
That's a Hawks 2014 All-Star right
That's
there.
crazy work.
That's Joe Johnson.
That is Joe Johnson. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's especially from you.
Look, I used to kind of grind the 2K back in those years. And I was always a Hawks, so Dennis Schroeder, Jeff Teague, Joe Johnson,
Okay.
Al Horford, Kent Bazemore from the corner,
Yup.
and Paul Millsap and Kyle Korver.
Yo,
So I guess that was 2014 to 16. That was
those are the Hawks.
those were my days, man.
I know you're not a basketball fan, but in theory, you would be a Hawks fan. Is
Yes.
that how that would work?
When they have made the playoffs, I have watched them.
Oh, okay. Nice. Yeah. Man, bunch of legends you just rattled off right there.
Yeah.
That's crazy work.
I stopped watching the NBA Finals every year when it was like Cavs, Warriors.
So you weren't into that?
I was into those.
Oh, you were?
Yes.
Gotcha. That's
Yeah.
good. Quality stuff. But you're out now.
I'm out. Yeah.
Just like, so yesterday, right? Basketball game is on.
Mm-hmm.
What were you watching?
Bro. I didn't watch any sports.
Okay.
I was honestly hoping that we'd make it through the show and I wouldn't have to talk about this because I might be still a little bit heated about it.
Oh. Well, we ain't doing a damn thing till we find out what it is.
I was doing plants.
Plants?
If you listened to the show last week, which
didn't.
I'd never expect you to.
I don't.
We have plants in my apartment now.
Okay.
My sweet wife has gone and purchased 6 in the last week.
6?
And we had a whole, Brent and I had a whole conversation about it.
Real ones?
Yes.
Like that need watering?
Yes. And
okay.
She is out of the country right now.
Damn.
And so it fell on me.
To water said plants.
To water the plants. And they're all different.
How many rooms you guys got in your apartment?
We have a kitchen.
Okay.
We have 2 bathrooms.
Okay.
2 bedrooms and a living room.
So you have just as many plants as rooms?
Yeah, and they're all like in the living room.
What are you running a damn garden in your living room?
2 are really small on like the TV stand. 2 are on the windowsill. 1 is like draped in our kitchen. It's like a vine that's like 8 feet. I'm like, bruh.
What kind of operation are you running?
It gets in the way when I'm trying to open the dishwasher, when I'm trying to do my job and and put the dishes away.
Okay.
I gotta like move the vine over to open up the daggum thing.
I believe that.
Anyway,
that's terrible.
They all have different instructions. She puts
instructions?
Bro, yes, they're all need special treatment.
There's a list?
She puts this whole notes thing together.
No.
And I'm like, look, I am kind of the no instructions guy, right?
Yeah.
But I know this is so fresh of a passion.
They can't die.
For her, that I got to take this serious.
You're borderline divorce if she comes back and those things are no longer with us.
So I read the instructions.
You do.
And it takes me like 30 minutes. And then, and I'm trying to do it so like, I don't have to text her about it.
Sure.
Because I want to be like, yeah, I got it taken care of.
I can handle the plants.
Right.
Damn right. Okay.
So then she texts me 2 hours later when said basketball game or any sporting event would technically be on.
Okay.
And I quickly realize as she's asking me questions that I screwed up somewhere.
Oh, no.
So 6 of the plants, we have 6, only 4 needed to be watered. One of the tiny ones, I gave the treatment to that one, which it didn't need.
The treatment?
And I watered it a ton. And she was like, holy crap, you probably killed the plant. And I was like, oh no.
Oh no.
So like she's texting, she's lightning fingers.
She angry? It's reasonable to believe she could have been.
Could have been.
Okay.
And I'm like, I don't have time to respond because first of all, I don't know what to say. I'm going to go take care of the one I was supposed to do.
Okay.
And that was the most difficult one to do because that's the one that's draped and it's like, it was a disaster, Kasey.
So this took hours out of your day.
Well, probably a solid hour.
To water plants.
And then the ones that I did do, I didn't do them perfectly unto the instructions either, which I thought I did.
So it ruined your whole night. You're like, I can't do anything after this.
Right, it was all my fault. Yeah. I finished and then I was like, I'm going to go to bed.
This is all I can do today.
Yeah.
Wow. So, I don't think I've ever had an alive plant in my house at any given time.
I never thought I would.
But you lost that battle. Wasn't worth a fight.
As I told Brent, if you walked into my apartment, you would be shocked to learn that somebody who lives in the apartment has ever watched sports before, much less is doing this on a daily basis.
That's crazy. It's crazy. You're a landscaper in your own apartment.
Unreal.
What a world.
And I failed.
And you failed.
It was a humbling moment. I was like, I'm sorry. Like,
That's the worst part, too.
I am sorry, but I screwed up your plans. Yeah. That's all I have to say.
Randy says, Hamby, she's testing you for taking care of future kids when she's away. Hopefully it goes
I
better.
feel like I would do better at that than I would with these.
Yeah, I mean.
I only got one. Like, eventually.
Right.
It'll be one at a time.
Well, people have twins now.
Well, that's true.
Ask Brent.
True.
I saw this lady on TikTok. She had triplets.
I went to high school with triplets.
Really?
Yeah.
I wonder what that's like.
Yeah. Hey, just give me one at a time.
Yeah. But
Not
like
6. As long as I don't have 6.
I think that can happen.
I think it can too.
That's crazy work.
That is.
How we're not going to go into this, but the part that like even blows my mind with triplets is like, how does that play out day of? Like day of birth.
Yeah, let's
how does that play out?
We're going to move on.
We're going to move on. But I agree with you though. I think a kid could be easier because like if there's a situation that's playing out, like you overwatered a plant didn't say anything.
Right.
Just sat there and drank it in.
Yeah,
right?
I didn't know that.
You're drowning this plant, and it sat there with a smile on its face,
That's
right?
correct.
Kid's going to let you know.
Immediately.
And you're going to start crying.
Right.
And you're like, hold on, something's wrong.
Then I can know that something's wrong, and then I can FaceTime if I need to.
Exactly, right? You can Google, you can FaceTime, you can check the notes.
Right.
Boom, boom, boom. Plant just sits there and takes it.
I thought I had done an unbelievable job.
That's funny.
Like, I had sat down, like, for 1 second.
You're like, yeah, I did this. You're like,
and then that's when, hey. And I was like, yeah, I took care of the plants. And she was like, how did it go? Didn't take long. I screwed it all up.
Man, can you imagine her reaction in some other country? Like, on vacation, I assume, or
She's
something?
like, hey, this dude is incompetent.
She's like, you gotta be. Is she with friends or something?
Yeah.
She's like, you look, he can't take care of a freaking plant. Like, what have I gotten into? Like, I hate to say it, that might have came up. What have I gotten into?
Oh, it did. Yeah, I'm sure.
Have you guys had first marital fight yet? You don't
No.
have to talk about it, but
No. Well, this was the closest one.
that's what I'm saying. This feels like it's pretty close.
This was the closest one. Absolutely. Like in the entire time that we've been together.
Wow. Even just dating.
Yeah.
You don't fight? No arguments? Just easy going, Hamby?
No, it's not. I mean, look, it hadn't been, all sunshine and rainbows.
There you go. I was wondering if you're going to get that done.
But we're not doing the whole.
I respect that.
I'm not saying I have enough confidence or pride to tell you that it will never.
Sure.
But it hasn't until this point. Until about last night. I'll say this. Last thing I'll say, I was getting texts in all caps.
Oh!
Yeah.
Yo!
Yeah, it was like, yeah.
If we asked her right now, I think you did have your first fight.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
You don't text in all caps if you ain't aggravated.
What did you do? I might have gotten that text. I was like, oh, no. Let me go fix this right away.
That's crazy. Other thing that you could do, though, like, worst case scenario, plants die, right? Couldn't you just rebuy them?
I mean, we bought them off, like, Facebook Marketplace, so it was like...
What?
Yeah, dude. See, this is why you need to watch the show more often. You're not on it.
You bought plants on Facebook Marketplace?
Bro, I was driving around Jacksonville, showing up to randoms' houses to take their plants off of them. And I'm having to sit there and carry it while Sarah's getting the information and all the details about what the treatment for the plant is, how often it's watered, whether it needs to be in this sunlight or how long what the exact coordinates it can be in the windowsill.
Coordinates is insane.
And I'm having to act interested because I think the person selling us the plant is under the impression that we're semi-connoisseurs. Or semi.
Is that where this happens?
And we're like, we have no idea. We've never, like, Sarah's never owned a plant before. So we're supposed to act like we know what's going on. So they have a little bit of confidence that they're not sending their plant off to war to die.
Who cares? It's a plant.
Dude, I've learned a lot about this plant community in the last week and a half.
Community?
They care. Don't get it twisted. They care.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Showing up to random houses, plants on Facebook Marketplace is the craziest thing I've ever heard another human do. Yeah. Plant community.
So if you ever decide that, hey,
I'm good. I'm good.
The autograph community, it's not
working.
it.
Plants?
Just start growing plants in your house and you can sell them.
How much you pay for these plants?
Well, we haggled them down, but
you were haggling over plants?
Yes, dude. One of the plants, the offer was listed for $80. I'm like, I'm not paying for leaves for $80.
Is this a Jack and the Beanstalk type of deal? Like,
Nah,
do these
dog.
things grow? Like, are you going to wherever Jack and I don't remember the story, but I just remember it grew real big and someone climbed it.
It was a big and luscious plant. I paid $50 for it. That was just one of the 6. The other ones were cheap.
I think you're sandbagging me on what you were telling me this last week about what you've been negotiating around here. Because if you're buying plants for $50, I don't think you're telling me the truth about your contract.
I'm telling you the truth.
$50 plants. Holy crap.
I told her, we gotta, we can't be doing this.
Now I understand why she's texting you in all caps. She's like, hey,
That's what I'm saying.
you're working overtime to get these damn plants. You're letting them die. Wow. This is wild stuff right here.
A day in my life.
Apparently. Holy cow.
I thought we were gonna make it through this show without bringing that up.
I maybe I should watch more because that's intriguing to me. Can't believe that.
Trevor Lawrence is speaking with the media right now.
Okay.
And Debo Samuel is overweight. See that clip?
Okay, is that the clip of him running the route?
Let me pull this. Because this ain't just like, hey, the angle was bad.
Well, because I saw something last night that was like it was like ML football or something. Like we talked about yesterday. But it was like Debo Samuel running a route. What do you notice? I didn't notice anything. I thought he ran the route.
I noticed.
Really? You noticed he was fat? Like that's what
Yeah.
I was actually going to ask you about that because I figured you had seen it because you're all over it. But
Bro looked like Jerome Bettis.
damn. Like, and the thing is, that's not even a bad thing, but like, it's not great. Really, I didn't realize.
You tell me, man. Like,
Why are we looking at his butt? Oh. Like he's fat? That's what you're telling me? This whole thing's about him being fat?
he looks overweight.
Does he? Like he's thick, but he's always been thick.
He hadn't been that thick.
I mean, I'm not measuring thickness here, but he looks all right.
I don't
You think this is a problem? I don't think this is a problem. Still looks pretty fluid. That's a touchdown if you ask me.
Hey, look, I'm going to go to another team. I'm going to try out these restaurants in D.C.
Debo been eaten. That's what Randy said. That's crazy word.
Yeah, I mean.
Huh. I didn't pick up on that. I actually had no idea what people were talking about. I read the comments and had no clue what was happening. But Debo Samuel's overweight, huh? Is Terry McLaurin there? I know he's on the team, but
Yeah, no, he's been. I don't think he's been at practice. Because I know he's trying to get a new deal.
So we got no scary Terry, and we got fat Debo. Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had no idea what was going on there. I'm glad you brought that up because I wouldn't have remembered that, but I was wondering what people were freaking out about.
Because everybody's like, yeah, they better pay Terry after watching that video.
It's that bad?
Well, that's just what people were saying. It's June 12th. What else do we have to go off of, Casey?
That's fair. Listen, I
We just
understand.
talked about plants for 20 minutes.
We did, and Steven said, don't give your plants to Hamby. I co-signed. They're not going to make it.
They're done.
They're done. But, like, I kind of... This is going to sound foul, but, like, if I'm trading for Debo Samuel, like, I kind of want him thick, to be real with you. Like,
He used to be more of a unit, though.
Sure, it's June. He can lose some weight.
I mean...
You got whole July and August.
I get it, but, like...
I think he's all right. I think he'll be fine.
oh, wow. Somebody put Big X the plug. Because it's Debo.
Oh, that's wild. That is a wild... Wow.
Never mind.
So Trevor Lawrence is speaking with the media.
He is?
That's good. So it sounds like they have concluded. They're done. It's over.
Practice is over. They said they were going to get in and out today, and they have. And now it's pretty much off to vacation for all these guys.
Yep. After Trevor answers some questions, I guess he'll be changing into his full-on denim and hitting the parking lot to head out for summer for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Practice has concluded. Travis Hunter, little reps on offense and defense, a switch mid-practice. And speaking of Travis Hunter, do we have that from yesterday? Travis Hunter meeting with the media. I have heard it is, might be a little bit similar to what he told Brent Martineau exclusively, which you saw right here on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network. But listen, I understand you guys want to hear it, and that's fair enough. We will keep track in the sound how much he told Brent and where you could have heard it a week prior to hearing it right now. But it is what it is. I do want to remind you the only people that talked to Travis Hunter exclusively was Brent Martineau and Action Sports Jacks. The only ones, all right? Not ESPN, CBS, Fox Sports, not Barstool Sports. Nobody. Not 1010. Nope, wasn't them. It was Action Sports Jacks exclusively. Brent Martineau, Travis Hunter. This is everybody, though. Talking to Travis Hunter. Action Sports Jacks was there, of course, because you know how we do. But this is Travis Hunter yesterday after mandatory minicamp.
It's been the most enjoyable part of being a Jaguar so far.
Just been able to come out here and just play with my brothers.
How's it been just for you to be able to actually get on the field, play defense, play offense, being able to do that during this time?
It's been great. I've been doing it my whole life, so nothing changed.
But just learning in an NFL way, just the differences maybe, or how it's been for you, just adapting.
Not really no difference. Just got to stay in the playbook and apply it to the field.
That Madden rating, 76.
Hey, that's a Madden rating. That's it.
Can you get it? How quickly can you get that thing up?
I'm not worried about Madden rating right now. I'm worried about playing football.
What was that fun to go with Ocho Cinco to go back and forth on that thing?
Yeah, it's always fun talking to Ocho.
Could he? You really think he could? Is there any chance that you couldn't cover, or that you couldn't cover him for?
I believe in myself, so I know I'll be able to cover him.
How has it been just covering Brian Thomas? Just what have you been able to see from him and maybe learn a little bit from him?
Just seeing how he go about his work. He helped me out a lot. Like I said the last time I came up here and talked. So just being able to take things from him and the money game and Parker game is just something that I can apply to my game and make me better.
And then for Brian specifically, what sort of makes him how good he is? Like
he's very smooth, no tendencies, and he got great hands.
Is that I don't want to say difficult, but just while you're trying to adapt to being an NFL player, how has that been, just letting your personality shine through?
It's been very easy for me. The guys come in and I bring the juice every day. I always got a smile on my face, making everyone laugh when I get the chance. So we just been fun, having fun, and just being kids out here just loving and living our dream.
We've talked about you working with Coach Bennett. What's been working with Coach Milas so far?
Just going to work. That's all it's been. Me and him going to work, Coach Bennett going to work. We just been doing our thing.
In those periods where you, him, and Coach Perkins can kind of just walk through things together, how big can that be for you?
It's very big because, I get a short little walkthrough before the walkthrough, so it get my mental right and ready to go.
To see all of these fans here, like you guys are just doing typical drills and they're cheering for you every time you touch the ball. What's that experience like?
It's very, very great experience. I know I can't let them down. I got to go out there and work, and I know they got my back.
Does buying a house make it feel more home than maybe before?
I ain't buy a house yet.
Okay. Did you look at 16 in one day? Is that?
Nah, it's not true.
Okay.
Anything else? All right. Thanks, Sean.
Thanks.
All right. The one thing, here's what I'm going to tell you. The one thing that Brent worries about constantly when I'm on a microphone is ruining relationships, right? With higher ups, advertisers, Brent's friends, and community. So I'm not going to do that. But what I am going to say.
Easy.
What are we doing? What are we doing? That's it. That's all I'm going to say. What I will say about the actual questions that mattered and the answers that Travis gave is
short and sweet.
Short and sweet. Again, Brent talked with him exclusively. It was better. Brent had better questions. Significantly better questions in some cases. But there is a question in there that's asked about covering Brian Thomas Jr. And that type of thing. But then the follow-up there, and Travis goes in to answer the question and says, "Oh, it's not just Brian Thomas Jr. that I'm learning from," and he mentions Parker and taking something from his game. I thought that was intriguing because Parker Washington, as we talked about a couple days ago when Olivia caught up with him, was what is the role going to be? But he's a different, I feel like in a way, and don't take this as gospel. I'm not saying De'Ami Brown and Brian Thomas Jr. are the same player, but what I am saying is all three of their receivers at the top, 1, 2, and 3, all have, in my opinion, similar games, right? Brian Thomas Jr. can do everything for you. Travis Hunter, we believe, is going to be able to do everything for you, but he's fast. He can get open. And De'Ami Brown is here because he's fast, in my opinion. Parker Washington is different. I'm not saying he's slow, but I'm saying his game is a Christian Kirk type game. Short routes in the slot, get open, be reliable, and catch the football, right? So Travis Hunter saying, and again, I think this is something that, obviously, that nobody else can do, but to take something from him while you're guarding him and to mention Parker Washington there, I think is interesting because I think Parker Washington's the one guy that I don't want to say he can learn the most from, but I think he's the one guy you look at his game and go, oh, I might not have that in my game. I think Brian Thomas Jr. and Travis Hunter probably have a lot of similar tactics in their game. Same with De'Ami Brown. Parker Washington, I don't feel that way. So I like the idea that he's taking stuff from Parker Washington and really everyone around him and learning. I like it. I got no problem with it.
Because Parker's going to, Travis might not understand that he's probably going to, he could find himself playing in the slot a little bit more. Right? Not that would take Parker's spot. I mean, it probably would, but on those particular plays. Sure. But there is a shiftiness and a direct. I feel like Parker is like the king of the like an angle route or a zig or anything like that, or it's like we're gonna put our foot in the ground, open up the hips, and go the other way, right? There's a shiftiness that he's had to curate and kind of master in order to be a successful slot receiver. At least in his mind, I'm sure Parker identifies himself as a slot receiver, even though, as we saw Daniel D. Griffiths tell us a couple weeks back, he actually played like 50% on the outside because he had to.
Yeah, necessity.
He had nobody else.
Sure.
Right? But I'm sure he identifies as himself as a slot receiver. And, yeah, that's something that Travis can probably get from him that he's probably not going to get from BTJ, who, again, played a decent bit of slot last year, but didn't at LSU. Right? He was almost entirely on the outside. So that was cool to hear. I think he continues to downplay how big a deal it is that he's doing all that he's doing.
Right.
Right? The information, the playbooks, both playbooks, the walkthroughs. Like, I don't know how he has time for everything else, to be honest with you. But again, everybody wants him to talk about, the struggle or,
how difficult it,
right.
Learning.
And he's just like, yeah, I've always done it.
Yeah.
It's nothing new to me.
Business as usual. I respect it.
It's all good.
And listen, I don't believe this to be true, but let's say he is struggling. He ain't telling us.
Right.
He's smarter than that. Right. And I have no thought in my mind that he's struggling. But, I like the idea that he just presents it as this is so normal to me that I'm not even giving it a second thought when you ask me. I'm in these meetings. Yeah, I get a little walkthrough before. I'm working with everybody. We're grinding. But this is just what I do. He's special, man.
Yeah.
Special dude. Has a press conference ever ended more awkwardly?
I'm sure there was one with Doug that probably did.
I mean, probably, maybe. But that was a little
Anything else?
I have a serious question. Does anybody care if he buys a house or not? Is that why you guys are listening to the show? See, here we go. I'm going to ruin something.
Yeah. Let's.
But honestly. All right. Irf, appreciate you being here, dog. Just catching up. Heard the plant story. Y'all make me not want to get married.
Nah, man, it's awesome.
I mean, I don't have any plans. So, this is fun. Now, granted, I might not have plans because, Amanda may know how that's going to end. because I can barely take the dog out, to be real with you. Like, I've missed feeding time a couple times with the dog. You know what I mean? So, maybe I'm not cut out for plants, but Hamby, this guy, plant expert, he's got it figured out. Sort of. Kind of.
Here's what I'll tell you in my 3 weeks. Marriage is all about setting yourself up for success.
Damn right.
And according to Dan Griffiths on actionsportsjacks.com, the Jaguars have to do a better job of setting themselves up for success because they have not put themselves in a good position to score points, to stay on the field, to force turnovers, to give their players even an opportunity to make plays at all. And that's their biggest area of improvement going into next year.
This guy, man. This guy's different. This guy's different. Wow. Again. 2 days in a row. An unbelievable transition. I'm speechless. ActionSportsJacks.com. You can read the article, but
32nd in the NFL. I'm seeing that quite a few times on this one graphic.
How many teams are in the NFL?
There's 32.
Damn. That's not good. So they are the worst average starting field position last year, 27.6. That's
which of these four is the most concerning? If you can fix one, which one?
That's a great question.
Actually, let me just start with the first part.
Yeah.
Because it might be two different answers.
Okay.
Which one of these is the saddest?
The saddest to me is time of possession.
Okay, that's what I was going to say.
How can you not stay on the field for 27 minutes? Like, I mean, how is that possible? Just because
the Giants exist.
The Giants exist. That's a great call. But, like, I understand Trevor Lawrence was hurt, but your quarterback was a 1-1 pick. You have a first-round running back and a third-round running back.
And a first-round receiver.
And a first-round receiver. And I know you didn't draft him, but Evan Ingram was a first-round tight end. He did miss time, but when he wasn't out there, Brenton Strange was, who you see on this graphic. He's a second-round tight end. Your offensive line, like, you had a first-round tackle. Walker Little's a second-round tackle. There's no excuse for not being able to put together a drive or two here and there, because clearly they could not. And you see it there at the bottom, 3 and out, 25% of the time. What was the second question?
Which one of these is the most important to fix?
You know what's interesting? I'm going to go turnovers forced.
I think I would go with you on that one as well.
How about that? Because you force some turnovers, field position changes. Time of possession, changes, obviously. You could still go 3 and out after forcing a turnover, but, like, I don't think anybody in the history of the NFL has ever been successful not having double-digit turnovers. How's it possible? Like, you
run into more than 15 in a year.
You run, just on total X. Like, you're telling me that they had 9 turnovers, so you're telling me, like, what, 4 times the quarterback just screwed up on the other team? Like, just read it wrong, threw it right to your... Like, it happens all the time in this sport. Like, you're telling me nobody ran a wrong route against the Jags? Devontae Adams is just out there by himself? So, like, to me, man, you got to get the football. And that's everything, though. That's pressure from your defensive line. It's communication from your linebackers and being in the right spot. And I'll go communication as well, but just straight up talent, making a play in the back end, being in the right spot. Because you get turnovers, man. I feel like more times than not, you get a turnover outside of, like, picking somebody off in the red zone or something. You're probably ending up with 3 points, right?
Right.
And listen, I shock the world and get 6, but like 3, I'll take it at a certain point. So yeah, I'm gonna go turnovers forced. You can't be last. Nobody's ever done well and been last, in my opinion, in turnovers forced. But you can read this article. And by the way, the last little point there: Jaguars only had 7 drives start in opponent's territory. What the hell were they doing? Like, what were they doing last year?
And don't get me wrong, it felt bad watching it. Like, there was no point where I was like, this feels good. But when you see stuff like this, it's like, why'd they even go out there? Like, I understand they sold tickets and, like, you can't quit, but, like, maybe they did quit just in their own way, because that's rough.
Which one's easiest to fix? Because the first and the third kind of go together.
Yeah.
Right? If you force more turnovers, you'll have better starting field position. If you convert on third down and go 3 and out every time, your time of possession will go up.
I think easiest to fix, as with Liam Coen as your head coach, is time of possession, because I think they're going to be committed to running the football more. And I think that helps your time of possession. I also think that answer could be the same for 3 and outs, though.
Yeah.
Because I feel like Liam Cohen's going to figure out how to get 10 yards more times than not.
Man, it just was crazy how many times we'd throw on first down, incomplete, run for 2, and then third and 8, incomplete, and we're off the field in 45 seconds.
That's what I'm saying.
With a lead sometimes.
Yeah, it was terrible, right? So, yeah, I think if I had to bet on one of these things that Liam Coen, and I understand Liam Coen can't make them get turnovers on the defense, but if one of these things screams to me like, what is Liam Coen going to fix pretty much immediately, I think you're going to see him running the football. They got maybe 4 backs that they want to use. He likes that little screen action game to not running backs but tight ends and receivers. Like, I think they're going to be on the field. And I think if they're on the field, I think that 3 and out percentage has to come down. And listen, if they get turnovers, that starting field position is going to be better. So, man, that's crazy work. Daniel Griffiths, bro. ActionSportsJax.com. Go there. Stream will start playing, which is good. But then you can read the article. You can read other articles. You can read old articles. You can read new articles when they come out. You can watch the show. You can watch any other show. Action Sports Jax. The 24/7 part is not just there for fun. This was a long research process on how they came up with the name. The network's on all the time. That's what the 24/7 stands for. So, like me and Hamby right here, IRL, in real life, you can see us right now at 11:21 a.m. But also, you can probably see us at like 3 a.m. So if you work at night, we'll be there. You can see the Armada. You can see the Sharks both replaying tonight. I believe there's a replay of the Scrap House at some point today. That's me and Austen Lane from yesterday. Young and Norvell will be on. All kinds of stuff on the network. But ActionSportsJax.com is where you find the network. It's where you find the articles. It's where you find all of the content that you need to set yourself up for success.
We're going to take a break in just a second, but before we do, and we will get to Paul Dozier will join us in a few minutes. But before we do, is he out there?
Well, there's no window. For a second, I was like, is he back there? Because you left for a second. I was like, what's going on?
Yeah. Before we get there, I do want y'all to hear from one more person.
Okay.
And this is the person we talked about at the start of the show. There's a vibe. There's an idea around Laquent Allen Jr. that he can be somebody who can make more impact of any 7th rounder, perhaps drafted.
Mm-hmm.
Right? If he's able to carve out a role and become the guy on special teams. So what can he provide with you? Is it like, how much of it is a battle for him to even secure a role, to secure a spot on the 53-man? That will remain to be seen, but obviously these reps are crucial for him.
Definitely.
Right? And training camp will be as well. We always have, every single year, a receiver that is the training camp darling, or even the OTA darling, that everybody's high on, that probably won't even make the roster. Right? But they're the guy. And it's fun because we don't know much about them. We're seeing them make plays. Well, so far, that's been Laquent Allen Jr. Will that continue? I don't know, but we caught up with him yesterday right after the second mini camp practice.
All right. You guys ready?
Yep.
All right, I'm ready when you are.
You can come up. Good? Welcome to town. What do you think of Jacksonville so far?
I love Jacksonville. You know, the atmosphere and the fans, you know, is one of a kind.
What's the weather like down here?
At first it was pretty hot. You know, I got used to it probably like a week and a half. And, you know, I love the weather and, you know, went and traded.
Were you surprised when you got the call from Jacksonville in the draft? Do you know much about them?
Yeah, I was surprised, not gonna lie to you, because during the process, I barely talked to, Jacksonville, things like that. But everything worked out, lovely to be here.
What's this running back room like?
It's definitely stacked. You definitely gotta learn every day, learn from each other. Everybody has different play styles, and, you can learn everything from each one of us.
You're Gatorade Player of the Year. You use that money to donate.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
You still run your camps and stuff every year? When is that?
June 28th, I'm going to have a camp back at home in Millville for the youth camp. The kids can come out, have a community day and still get better all in the same day. And a lot of fun.
What made you want to do that?
Just not having that many resources growing up and that many people giving back, growing up. And, it was very, very uncommon, where I'm from. So now it's very common, it's a lot of us getting out and going to college. College where I'm from is very common now and things like that. And that starts with showing the kids that it's possible.
2 seasons with over 1,000 yards over at Syracuse. How excited are you to try and do that here in the NFL?
Definitely excited, but taking every day to work every day to get 1% better. Got to get in the playbook and get on the field and put it in play.
Different
skill set for you compared to some of the other backs in terms of your receiving ability. You had an unbelievable number of catches at Syracuse. Do you hope to kind of be that wrinkle to the offense, something a little bit different than just running?
Oh yeah, definitely. All around the board, blocking, running, catching, whatever coach need me to do, that's what's going to be done. Definitely at the highest level.
Jags draft the fastest running back from the NFL Combine. Have you gone up against Tugin at all? Has there been friendly competition over there?
Oh yeah, definitely friendly competition. Tugin, he's a Jersey guy too, so I knew Tugin before, the NFL and things like that. It's kind of crazy we ended up on the same team. Just learning from him every day, and it means a lot.
What is it about this offense that you like the most?
I love how diverse it is. Just being a running back, we're not always in the backfield. We can move out, left, right, all the way outside, things like that. So I think just being diverse in the offense means a lot.
You saw Travis last year from afar and what he did, and now you're sharing a locker room and a field with him. What is it like to kind of see him and what he did at Colorado and then come and try to do the NFL?
Yeah, seeking greatness. I know he's going to be great, on both sides of the ball, knowing that he's going to play at the highest level that he can and, help the team win at all times. And, just see that every day is unbelievable.
Was it something as a kid that you saw in terms of wanting to give back? Did somebody affect you at a young age when you were growing up?
I wouldn't say nobody affected me. I think just the community, the area, is just not that much going on and things like that, not that much resources. So being able to be a platform and then give back to your own city, means a lot to the kids and myself. So.
Did you see what Liam did over in Tampa with the running backs? And he wants to run the ball more, right? Is that music to your ears and seeing that and hopefully have it over here in Jacksonville?
For sure, it's definitely music to my ears. Like I said, running and catching the ball, going out wide and things like that. I seen he did that at the Buccaneers, and I want to be a part of that for sure.
Have you gotten out in town and had a chance to see the area, beach, or anything like that so far? Or are you going to do that during your break?
Probably during a break. I think that I've been to Jack's Beach like once, but it was pretty. Definitely, it was like Memorial Weekend. There's a lot of people out there. Kind of surprised me. I didn't expect that many people to be out there. Lovely beach. The water was actually warm too. Where I'm from, the water be cold. So, yeah, definitely lovely.
Perfect.
Good.
Yeah.
Sounds like a good dude, man. Listen, they looked for a type of person, high character person that loves football. I think they got another one there. Gladstone dribbling the football in the back. Is any other GM doing that? That's what I was locked in on early. I'm not going to lie to you. Gladstone just back there dribbling the football. Okay. Again, can't say it enough. What a 365 difference. You ever seen Trent Baalke dribble a football? I don't remember it once.
Nope.
I do not remember it once. Let's take a break. That was a big, long block there.
Yes, it was.
You just kept transition. You were just, it was flowing so nicely from Plants to Married to the Jags, back to some sound. Travis Hunter. I got on that one guy. We called out every media outlet in town. That was cool. So good little run we had there in that segment. When we come back,
let's go fishing.
And this weekend on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network, Saturday specifically, Old School Kingfish Shootout. You can see the weigh-in starting at 2 o'clock right here on the network. As I told you, it's 24/7, so anytime. And it will replay a whole bunch, but live Saturday at 2, leading you right into the Jacksonville Armada at home. The men looking for another victory. The boys are red hot. Is today Thursday, Hamby?
It is.
So Fleet and Footy?
It is.
Fleet and Footy today at 2, talking about the Armada win for both the men and the women, previewing the game this week. Is that the return of Stuart Weber on the show?
It is.
Holy cow. About time, Stuart Weber. Showing up to work. I'm just kidding. You guys had a kid. Everything's good there. All good. But Stuart Weber on Fleet and Footy. Hamby produces it. And then Saturday, like you see it right there. Join us on the network and be here when we come back. Let's go fishing right after this.
Welcome inside the Armor Guard exterior and gutter helmet showroom. There's a lot going on, like glass exteriors, replacement windows, and down there we have the retractable screens and awnings, plus hurricane protection. Let's talk more about those gutters, and to do that, we bring in Kevin. He's the owner, he's the expert. Why Gutter Helmet?
Well, Gutter Helmet is truly the only maintenance-free product. It lets the trash and debris go on the ground, the water wraps around and goes inside. Unlike filters, they sit on top of the gutters, and the trash and debris build up on top of filters, which requires maintenance. With Gutter Helmet, we're going to keep you off the ladder, the most dangerous thing in your garage. With Gutter Helmet, you'll never clean your gutters again. So get off the ladder and put on the helmet. Gutter Helmet.
Get a free estimate at gutterhelmetofnorthflorida.com. You can also call 904-762-7779 or visit the showroom on St. John's Bluff Road in Jacksonville.
Empower a future, inspire a dream. It's a bold but simple mission for the Jacksonville Police Athletic League known as Jax PAL. Help the next generation of kids in Jacksonville shape a brighter future. Their after-school programs, teenage leadership programs. There's community outreach.
It's been just an awesome opportunity to be out here with my colleagues and do something good for the community. It's really been an interesting opportunity to just see everybody work together in a way that we don't normally in the office.
And there's sports. There are also ways you can help the next generation with a donation of any kind. Just visit jaxpal.org to get more information. Empower a future, inspire a dream with Jax PAL.
It's the Kingfish Tournament for the entire family. The 2025 Daly's Old School Kingfish Shootout presented by Yellowfin. What makes the Old School better than the rest? Cash payout to the top 25 places, lady and junior angler divisions, no bait buying, and limited boundaries. It's coming up this week, Saturday, June 14th, so make sure to get in and enter now. OldSchoolKingfish.com for all the details, fishing fun for the entire family, and a $125,000 Yellowfin bay boat on the line. OldSchoolKingfish.com.
The rhythm of my heart is beating like a drum, with we are more rolling off our tongues. Never will we roam, for we know our place is home. Where the ocean meets the skies, we be sailing. Where the ocean meets the skies, we be sailing.
Baker's Sports. It's a hometown business filled with hometown people trying to make you feel right at home.
Chris Conley, Jacksonville University.
Walker Wright, class of 2018, West Nassau High School.
Michael Young, Fletcher High School.
Baker's Sports started in a grassroots way and now outfits much of the Southeast.
Will Olive, Mandarin High School. Go Stangs.
High school sports, travel sports, youth sports of all kinds. They are a one-stop shop carrying Nike, Adidas, Under Armour brands, and more.
Vincent Caldes, Oak Leaf High School.
Tony Mazzio, Sandwood High School, class of 2002. Samuel Coffrin, Paxton School for Advanced Studies.
Whether it's sports teams on the field or it's your team in the workplace, like our Action Sports Jacks team, and community events like the Dream 18 Golf Tournament, and many others.
Cole Tilley, Hilliard High School.
Reagan Webb, Eagles View Academy.
Look good, feel good, play good with Baker Sports. Custom sports apparel since 1997. Shop with the hometown team at bakersport.com.
Sun's out, suits out. That's right, it's summertime in Florida, which means it's time to say goodbye to bulking season and hello to shredding season. But if you're like me, you're having a hard time sculpting and shaping those final pounds. That is until I came and saw my friends over at Ponte Vedra Vein and Aesthetics. Right now, everyone is hopping on the Evolve X train, and the only destination is finding your perfect summer body. The technology uses electrical muscle stimulation and radio frequency energy to cause your muscles to contract, all while heating up those deep layers of your skin and tissue to produce collagen and reduce fat. It's like doing 1,000 sit-ups in 30 minutes. No pain, no needles, just results, right? That's right. So leave those winter layers back at the station and come look and feel your best with the team here at Ponte Vedra Vein and Aesthetics. Visit them at one of their 2 locations, either over in Ponte Vedra or on the south side.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austen Show, streaming on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network.
Let's go fishing on a Thursday, and it's a big one today because it's time for the old school Kingfish shootout. So we welcome our man in, Paul Dozier, heading it up. Paul, are you nervous?
Nervous? No, I'm not nervous, Hamby. I'm excited. We're excited to get this thing going. Should be a good tournament, hopefully.
Remind the people how many years this has been going on.
This will be the 6th edition of the old school. We ran another tournament called the Northeast Florida Kingfish Shootout for about 10 years prior to that. So 16 years we've been doing this, 6 years of old school. So.
Dang. And you were telling me in the break that, hey, the weather, huge factor, as you've told us each and every week.
Yeah.
Not bad, but not phenomenal.
Not perfect. That's right. They're calling south winds at 10 to 15 knots. It's funny, you talk to different people, and people call me, ask me about the weather and whatnot, and some guys are like, oh my gosh, it's perfect. It won't be so hot. There'll actually be a breeze. I'm like, yeah, buddy, I need you to work my PR. And other guys are like, it might be a little choppy. And I'm like, buddy, they're calling 2 to 3 foot seas. And if we can't handle 2 to 3, we probably don't need to be offshore in reality. But I understand, this time of year, you think of king fishing on the beach, you think of being blistering hot and flat glass calm, and might not be like that. It might be a little breeze, but it won't be so hot. And it's not going to be terribly rough. It's not going to be anything dangerous. They're calling 10 to 15 knots, 2 to 3 foot seas. So chance of afternoon thunderstorms sounds like a normal day in sunny Northeast Florida in the summertime.
Yeah, you were telling us last week that a lot of people will register late depending on the weather. And obviously you told us about the discount if you sign up on time. And you can still sign up day of. You can show up, sign up. So how do you think people will be, now that they have a decent feel of what it's going to look like? Are you expecting a late wave?
Well, we'll have a late wave, yeah. Normally, a lot of the smaller boats wait till the last minute just to see the weather for that reason, which is probably a good idea. If you have a big boat, you're going to fish. And I've always said, if it's blowing northeast, if it's a northeaster, I'm not going to send these guys out there anyway if it's dangerous. Something like this where I'm not even going to use the word marginal. It's not marginal. We rode down and looked at the ocean this morning. The ocean's beautiful. Like I said, a little breeze. But maybe if you have a flats boat, you might say, you know what, and you're taking a bunch of kids, you might say, maybe we'll wait till next year, which is fine. But, hey, listen, we've got a great tournament. We've got 550 or so boats registered already, which is a giant tournament, and we are going to get several more, I know for a fact. So there's no complaining here. I mean, it just is. It's good. If we could get somebody to postpone all these baseball and lacrosse tournaments every weekend, that might help my team more than the weather.
There you go. Too much baseball, right, Hamby?
Hey, I got one this weekend.
As you're heading out of town to go do baseball. Not to cut you off, Hamby, but captain's meeting's coming up on Friday, right?
Yeah, tomorrow we have 2 captain's meetings, one at 4 o'clock, one at 7 o'clock. A representative from each team has to come down there and be around for a captain's meeting, pick up your boat number and your captain's bucket. Lady anglers and junior anglers we have a big contingent of those. And every the first 300 junior anglers registered get their own captain's bag. No extra charge for junior anglers or lady anglers. And, Miller Lite kickoff party down at the the St. Augustine Boathouse, $2 Miller Lights. Can't beat that these days, buddy.
Cannot.
And they're having shrimp basket and fish basket specials, and we got a little live music from the Jason Evans Band from 3 to 7. Should be a great time. Let's just hope the rain holds off. Again, sunny Florida, you never know. It can be sunny right now, and when we go out after this segment, it can be pouring.
Tell you what, not going to rain long, hopefully, but
that's right.
Probably will be some rain at some point today. Hamby, what do we got?
Paul, remind us, every time that we pull up the fact that the first prize gets a yellowfin.
Yeah.
Okay. Where is y'all's prize rank in the, in the fleet compared to a lot of the boats that even a lot of these fishermen are taking out there? Like, how big of a get is this?
It's a big get. There are the Greater Jacksonville Kingfish Tournament has a great prize. They have a 28-foot contender that's worth probably, honestly, double what ours is. It's worth $240,000. And then there's another tournament at the end of the season. It's a similar tournament to ours called the North Florida King of the Beach. And their first place prize is a 33-foot boat that's worth $360,000. And their second place prize is a F-250 truck. Damn. So we have a great prize. We have great payout and great prize structure. And but there's other tournaments around here, guys, that are serious as well. And I think one of the good things about this area is we all work together. We all fish each other's events, and it works out well.
Now, you sent me this picture that I would love to show. Each and every week, you can send your pictures to Sports at Action News Jacks, and our Paul Dozier will tell us all about the fish and your catch. But this one's a little closer to home. Tell us about this one.
Yeah, yesterday afternoon, I know Roger Bump's been doing some segments about the St. Johns River.
We'll hear from him in just a second.
Yeah, well, we were getting ready yesterday afternoon, and my good friend Tyler Eichel's Last Call Charters, no, not trying to give him a little plug or anything, but
why not?
Last Call Charters calls, we're at lunch, says, hey, I'm going to go fishing for a couple hours, and does Bradley want to go? So, of course, Bradley wants to go, and I decided to work a little bit extra hard so Bradley could go fishing with my buddy. So they went out in the St. Johns River, and they cast netted some shrimp. Bradley caught his own bait. There's shrimp in the river now. You hear Captain Roger talk about bait, and he caught this nice redfish. And they caught did you get the other two pictures? I think I got one rejected there, Hamby. I'm not sure.
Let me see if I can't get them in just a minute here.
Yeah. Anyway, they caught redfish, they caught sheep's head, and they caught a black bass, a largemouth bass yesterday. And they left the dock right at Mandarin Park about 1 or 2 o'clock, and they were back at 3:30. So
nice.
Yeah, fishing's good in the river. Catch your own bait. It's not expensive. They went out, cast netted their own shrimp, caught nice redfish, good eating fish, sheep's head, excellent eating fish. They released the bass, of course. So
I love it. All right, you mentioned Captain Roger. We have another weekly update from him right now.
Hey folks, this is Captain Roger with JacksonvilleFishingTrips.com, my guide service here in Jacksonville, Florida, with your weekly fishing report for Action Sports podcast. This week, which is the second week of June, we have an 81-degree average temperature in the river and the ocean. It's pretty hot out there. Water temperatures continue to get hotter and hotter, but the water clarity is good. We haven't had a lot of rain. Two things to be aware of. If you're fishing a river, match the hatch. Glass minnows with lures that look like a little minnow, or live bait with mud minnows. If you're fishing the creeks, match the hatch. In the creeks, there's shrimp. So have your lures that look like shrimp, or buy some live shrimp and use those live shrimp either on a popping cork or a jig in those creek systems. The creeks are going to mostly hold a lot of redfish. There's a few flounder being popped out of there. But in the main river, which I see to only improve as we get further into this month, with redfish, trout, and flounder, it should only improve as more and more bait comes in. Hope this report serves you well. We'll get with you next week on Action Sports podcast. Next week, Captain Roger Bump.
My man.
My man.
And I'm glad. Look, Paul, we talked a lot about last week. Captain Roger was rocking a Bass Pro hat.
Yeah.
My question was, does that?
Oh, no.
No.
Oh, no.
This is for you, big dog.
Oh, no.
This is for you. I heard you talk about that. I didn't hear you talking about the plants, but I did hear you talking about this. I'm glad you brought it up because I would have forgot I wore this just for you, Hamby. Continue on. My fault. Keep going.
So I was going on
Yep.
about the dudes who wear the Bass Pro hats,
You right?
but never fish are the ultimate scumbags.
Big scum.
Right?
Right here.
They have an identity crisis.
Big time.
They're big time pretenders. And I was asking, because Captain Roger was wearing one, and if it decreases his credibility in any way, because he's being assimilated with jokers like you, Kasey.
Hey.
And Paul clarified that although he wasn't the biggest fan, Captain Roger still knows what's up.
Yeah, absolutely. Captain Roger can pull off the Bass Pro hat, maybe a little better than Kasey.
Atta baby.
Maybe Kasey might be trying to do his Luke Combs impersonation. That could be what he's doing there.
That's not bad there, Paul.
Yeah, listen, I've got a lot of that.
Yeah.
I can't sing or play guitar or really have any talent whatsoever. But I do have this hat. I don't really know why. Not an experienced fisherman. My dad, big fisherman. I fished sometimes as a kid. But yeah, no clue what I'm doing. But I did hear Hamby talking about the Bass Pro hat, so I did want to get this in today. So Hamby, this is for you. And this is going to show how much of a fisherman I am because I do have this question. And this is the worst question you've ever received. Trust me. All right, so I'm driving down the road the other day, and there's a truck pulling a boat that is bigger than like 3 of my cars. How does he back that in the water? Like, that looked like the most difficult thing I've ever
To be
seen.
honest with you, I've towed a lot of big boats like you're describing. And believe it or not, towing a 5x10, 5x8 U-Haul or backing that up is harder than towing a big old giant boat. The big boat's heavy, it's long, and it's very maneuverable. I mean, I don't know about a 45-footer or anything. The biggest challenge towing these big boats is getting around town, making a turn, trees, overhead trees and limbs and power lines and stuff like that. But they're all, these boat manufacturers know that most of these boats are going on trailers and how high they can be. But they're not terribly hard. If you can back up a lawn trailer, you can back up a 30-footer.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
No doubt about it.
I can barely back up my Mazda, but I'm telling you, I saw this boat driving down at Kernan, and I was like, this is the biggest boat I've ever seen in my life. So it feels like something that would be difficult to get in the water. For 2 days now with Hamby, by the way, this is my 3rd day with Hamby. We've had a great run. He has not been this excited about anything we've talked about than like this segment. Like, he's been so excited to do this and like energized.
Heck yeah.
So I think you being on the show every week has kind of hit a spot with Hamby. I'm not sure what the fishing background is for Hamby. He is giddy as all giddy has been in the last 3 days for this segment.
That's good.
So I appreciate that you can bring this out of Hamby because I could not.
Maybe we should do it more often, Hamby. What do you think?
I'm in. We'll have to talk a little bit more Florida basketball.
Yeah.
And that's what I was going to bring up because Hamby won't talk Florida basketball with me, but he said you would talk Florida basketball.
I will.
As we're into the off-season workout period. They started this week. Boogie Fland is there. Alex Condon not there because he's in Australia working out and hasn't been home in a while. But nonetheless, Gators back in action. Excited to see Boogie Fland and the new additions they bring in.
Yeah, why not? It's crazy the schedule they're going to play. I mean, God, their RPI is going to be good. I don't know. I mean, they scheduled Duke, Arizona, open with Arizona, UConn, and I'm forgetting another one too. They got four really tough out-of-conference games. Kentucky twice this year. Yep. Of course, we got to go to Kentucky one time last year.
You got to come to Athens.
Oh, yeah. Well, my old Mike White got him. He's, 1-9 now against the Gators? Something along those lines.
Mike White.
Hey, Mike White's not a bad coach. He's perfect for Georgia. I mean, Georgia's had a rough run of basketball, you know.
Mark Fox days.
Yeah. He's up there assistant at Kentucky now, I think, right?
Is he?
Yeah.
Is Tom Crean have a job, or is he still doing TV?
I think he's TV.
I think he's TV. Probably makes more money TV, and it's probably whole lot less NIL hassle. TV.
Definitely. Yeah. I want you to catch it. That was a little bit of a shot, Hamby.
I know. Yeah, okay. He's perfect for Georgia.
Perfect.
Yeah, he's perfect for going
ninth in the conference is perfect.
He made the tournament. I mean,
that's all you can ask for.
Listen, they'll hang a banner up there for that.
They might.
Ain't gonna hang no daggum banner.
They might. They're putting it up right now.
I was pumped. And then we got, I think, what was it, 35-12 against Gonzaga?
Oh, yeah, they dog walked.
Thanks for making them a 9
But
seed.
it's okay, Hamby. It's all good, buddy. It worked out. You had baseball season to fall back on. Those guys had a great year until they got to the tournament, it seems.
Well, yeah, and then we lost to Duke and Oklahoma State.
Georgia new slogan: we can make it into the tournament.
Well, that was our slogan for 30 years before we broke through and finally won 2 national championships.
Switch it back around.
So hopefully we're not doing this whole thing again.
So seriously, on another, you're a baseball guy, Hamby. What's up with all this clown action on this college baseball these days? I mean, Georgia's not as bad as Tennessee, but it's not just Georgia and Tennessee. It seems like all these guys are, look at me, showboating. I mean, Chipper Jones went after him the other day, and I mean, O'Sullivan acted like a jerk the other day.
Bad.
Just ugly, terrible look. And I mean, what's up with it? A lot of hotheads, a lot of what's up with that? Is that the way you guys are coaching these guys these days?
Hamby.
Hey, listen.
This is on you.
I'm going to go down to Orlando, actually, after the show, and our team is playing right now. They had an 8 a.m. game today.
Why are you here?
You're a heck of a coach, buddy.
Yeah, what are you doing?
We won 15-4. I was looking at the game changer about 20 minutes ago. We play again, and look, it was supposed to start Thursday morning or Thursday night, and I was going to be there, but it started today. I'll be there for the rest of the week.
Sounds like they had some great coaching this morning.
Regardless.
Sounds like they don't need you, dog.
Well, hey.
I hate to say it.
No, they need me. Trust me.
All right.
Because if they don't need me, they'll all turn into a bunch of 4 buttons loose.
Yeah.
Pimping homers, which we hit a home. Our 15-year-olds are hitting bombs on the big field now for the first time. So I can no longer, like, when they were doing that at 13, Paul, I've been with these same kids for 5 years. When they were doing that on the little field and hitting it out by 50 feet, I could say, yeah, that's going to be a pop-up next year. You might want to learn how to run that out. Well, I'm having a tougher time. That's one less thing I can tell them to kind of police the situation. Other than hitting them in BP the next day, I can still always kind of go back to that. And yes, I do have full permission from all parents involved if there needs to be slight disciplinary action. All that to say, Paul, it's not me. However, it's travel ball.
Yeah.
The answer to your question is travel ball, and it's all of these kids, it's their parents thinking that they're unbelievable, and they're all going to get Division I scholarships still. And even though travel ball has been around for so long, Kasey lived it his entire life. I've lived it my entire life. We still haven't learned the lesson that, hey, your kid's not that special, right?
That's
so we
real.
might have to discipline our kid if, and the coach won't do it because the coach, well, I might, but
you're not going to do it when you're here, and they're playing down there in Orlando.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, like I'm trying. I've been with them for 5 years.
But I'm glad you're here, actually. So
Me too, Hamby.
That's what I'm saying. I want to talk about the old school Kingfish shootout a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Georgia does the 3 buttons down. They pimp every single fly ball, which with those metal bats, anything you hit in the air is going to go out at all these college parks. Nonetheless, I'm with you. I am the old school guy. I put the fire out as much as possible, Paul, but I cannot be responsible for college baseball because those guys were past my coaching career.
I have no issue with kids getting excited, and if you hit a game-winning home run or you hit you hit a home run, you should be able to celebrate. But some of the things that these do, and they also watch Ronald Acuna do it too. I mean, he that's their hero, right?
Sure.
I mean, they're not setting the best example up there, but I don't know. It's just college baseball to me is in the Tennessee coach Vitello or whatever he plays into it, and it's just not because these guys like my son Bradley, they watch all these guys. It's not just baseball; it's football. These look at me, somebody drops a pass and the cornerback's like posing. It's just not. I don't know.
No fly zone.
We don't have that in fishing. We don't have.
That's not a thing. There's no.
That's what I'm going to ask. So, Paul, what was the last year's winner weight for the winning kingfish?
I believe it was around 43 pounds.
Okay, so if somebody this weekend catches a 45-pounder, is there an crossing the line of etiquette? If there's another boat like around the corner and they can see, is there like, hey, like you're throwing us off here, or you're like, hey, you could celebrate, but what's the fishing etiquette when you have success?
Yeah, the fishermen are all each other's biggest fans, really. It seems like people are very humble and gracious in victory or defeat. You tell everybody at the end of the day, good going on your day, whatever they catch. If you're in a billfish tournament and you catch 2-3 fish and the next guy caught 6, he's going to tell you nice going on your day, and you're like, yeah, thanks, buddy. Yeah, we suck. But no, there's no showmanship in this, man. You catch a big fish, you're going to come weigh that fish and try to get all the weight you can. I've heard some stories of guys that say they've got the winner in the bag and they want to wait and be the last boat away. I've never experienced that. I've never seen that. That happens a lot more in South Florida.
Okay.
Shockingly.
Why? Just because
it's a little different culture down there.
Okay.
The South Florida.
It's different.
Yeah, just not as much Southern gentlemen as any Southern gentlemen as there are around here. But all in all, I mean, if somebody catches a 60-pound kingfish tomorrow or Saturday, then they're going to be the first boat to weigh it, most likely.
Yeah, sure.
You want to weigh it because your boat can break down. A lot of things can happen. A storm can come. You just don't know.
Yeah.
So you want to get there as soon as you can. Make it weigh as much as you can because the old wise tale is going to lose weight. The longer you wait to weigh it, she's losing weight. So, yeah.
Interesting. Paul, we'll get you out of here in a second, but we're going to have at 2 o'clock on the network, we're going to start streaming the weigh-in. For people that tune into the network, what can they expect to see?
They can expect to see a pretty cool production. We'll have drone footage of the boats coming in. We have Philip Green is the talent, and he's crazy as a sprayed roach, and he's funny, and he's entertaining, and so it's one of those deals. He's been doing it now. This will be his 3rd year, I believe, maybe 4th, but you either love him or you hate Philip. Like, people are like, why you got this clown on there? And then other people are like, that guy's hilarious.
I like that.
And he's that guy. He's over the top, but he's full of energy, and he interviews. And the reason the purest fishermen think Philip's over the top, the everyday guy thinks he's hilarious. And the great thing about Philip is he makes the junior anglers feel like stars. And that's why we keep having him back. And he does a great job. He represents us well, but he's funny. He's like a big muscle-bound guy will come down the dock with his fish bag, and he'll go over there and ask him what he had for breakfast and how do you get these muscles. and you probably caught this fish in 10 seconds. This fish didn't have a chance. Kind of jabbing at the guy without jabbing at the guy. But it's good. And we'll have live leaderboard on there, and you get to see every fish weighed for the most part. It's cool. It's entertaining. A lot of people that don't ever tune into it, and they're like, man, I ended up watching that for 3 hours, and you wouldn't think that. It's not just a camera sitting on a tripod recording the weigh-ins. It's different things, interviews with the fishermen, talking about where they caught the fish, how their day was, and all the things. So.
Sweet. Awesome. Well, it'll be on the network at 2 p.m. I'll be here watching it because I'll be in Hamby's role, making sure everything that goes on the network smoothly. And as you see it right there, you can see it 2 p.m. on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network on Saturday.
Clear skies, Paul.
I hope the weather is good.
Clear skies, light winds, calm seas, and lots of fish. There's lots of fish and bait around. Fishing will be good. It's going to be a great day, guys. And thank you guys for all your support, and thank you for airing this thing. And go Gators.
Absolutely.
Can't go with you there. Go old school kingfish shootout.
I'll give you go Gators. Go old school kingfish shootout. And most importantly, watch it Saturday on the network. Austen Lane joins us when we come back. Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network. We close it out right after this.
When it's time to get a new car for anyone in your family, just remember, nobody but Nimnick, the #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville. Get the latest price breaks on 2023 and 2024 models or the newest 2025 vehicles in the showroom on Phillips Highway, or shop online at NimnickBuickGMC.com 24 hours a day. GMC Sierras, Yukons, and the redesigned Acadias, or get the all-new redesigned line with Buicks. It's nobody but Nimnick, and part of the reason why is this is a first-class buying experience here at Nimnick Buick GMC. You're not just a customer, you're a friend. This is about getting a vehicle that best fits you and getting you on the road, and also helping you and your family down the road. Nimnick has a treating you right guarantee, courtesy, respect, fairness, the most Buicks, GMCs, and Jacksonville's only Car Bravo dealer, nobody but Nimnicht. Who has put in the most years and stands behind a better experience? Nobody but Nimnicht. GMC, we are professional grade.
The schedules are out for another summer of soccer here in Jacksonville with the Armada men's and women's under-23 squads, starting with the ladies and the home opener on May 24th. 2 weeks later, they're back in Northeast Florida for a June 7th matchup. The season wraps up with a pair of Friday night home matches June 20th and the 27th. As for the boys in blue, they debut against a couple league newcomers on May 9th and 17th respectively, with more home dates on May 31st, June 14th, and June 21st. All those matches are at Edward Waters University, and you can watch them live on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network. Those teams are a big focus on Fleet and Footy, covering the big soccer stories each week on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network.
I'll put one in the back of the net for you.
Join us for player profiles, fun interviews, and the very latest on the Fleet and all things footy. That's every Thursday at 2 p.m.
I've been telling you about CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing for a long time now. Their drinking water systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. We've had a Connecticut water softener and drinking water system in our home for more than 7 years. You can see the difference whether you're washing clothes, the dishes, or what I like to do most, fill this up for some coffee every morning, and mostly all day. Remember, if you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. Right now, you can get a free Connecticut reverse osmosis system with a purchase of a Connecticut Premier Softener. The experts at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing will test your water for free and determine your water score. Don't know your water score? CGC will find out and recommend the appropriate Connecticut water treatment solutions so you can improve it. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. Ask about our 90-day love it or leave it guarantee. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1432579.
There's a saying in sports, you can't win them all, but you can win a lot with good folks on your team. Like that one painter, First Coast. It's tough to beat the sun in Florida, so your home fades. It's tough to beat that HOA when they come calling. Beat the sun, beat the HOA with that one painter, First Coast. And it's a good time to do it. Less rain to work around, and painting in mild temperatures is perfect. After all, the paint bonds to the surface so much better. Give that one painter First Coast a call at 904-417-3557 or look them up at first-coast.thatonepainter.com. Fast estimate, guidance on color and HOA requirements, and the highest quality job you'll find anywhere. Be a big winner in your neighborhood with that one painter First Coast on your team.
It's fast-paced.
Hands off on first down, and there goes Edward Vander.
High fly.
Wide open receiver. It's caught.
Action-packed. Weekend fun. Fun for the entire family. It's the Jacksonville Sharks. I feel like anybody could play in this league. It's gotta be like backyard football, right?
Whoa! This ain't the Arena League, Brent. This is the indoor league, and they play defense here.
It's a lot safer to just watch the professionals play. And watching is a lot of fun. A party in the stands at the arena for kids and adults. And it's indoors. Get out of the heat for the summer and watch the Sharks shine inside. Jacksonville Sharks football, season number 15. It's the drive for 5, and it's still alive. Get your tickets at jacksharks.com.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austen Show, streaming on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network.
Brian Thomas Jr. and the Jacksonville Jaguars calling it probably not a week, calling it a summer, if you will, coming to a close today with mandatory minicamp and the off-season work. And now it's time for vacation for the Jacksonville Jaguars for a little bit. Still some work to be done, not with the team, but on their own. And that will lead us into, in a month and some time, bless you, Hamby.
Thank you.
some training camp, preseason, and then into the regular season for the Jacksonville Jaguars. What up, Austen Lane? How goes it?
How goes it, man? It's going good. Got some hard sparring in and everything. Thankfully, didn't get the face too bruised up today. I took a little bit of a hit, but kinda common. It was. If I even try to explain it, it's gonna sound completely crazy. But ended up taking a dude's nose to the eyeball today, and that's what happens sometimes when there's grappling exchanges, and that's what happened to me today. So nothing too serious, man. You know, we move, we keep progressing forward, but a solid day of training and sparring. Is Brent still on the show, or did he just kind of give it up now? What?
I heard Brent is sailing today off the coast of New York, so
nice.
I cannot confirm or deny if we'll ever see Brent again. Actually, tomorrow will be the big tester because Hamby's going to go coach in Orlando, his team that's already started playing games, which we found out last segment. They're winning without him. Mm-hmm. So how much do they need him is a question. You're going to be working out, so you may jump in at some point. So if Brent doesn't show up tomorrow, it's just me.
Well, I mean, if worst comes to worst, Kasey, we can just recruit some of his bots on Twitter that can probably help us out. He's got about, 120 of them. So maybe they'd be interested in helping out the show.
Yeah, he does still have the bots.
Yeah, I had 10 notifications this morning, and I'm like, hopefully something from my past didn't get it. Like when you see 10 notifications from Twitter, you immediately go to like the worst case scenario.
Okay.
No, there was just some bots that were really impressed with Brent's analytics when it comes to, Bitcoin or something like that.
Very impressive.
Interesting.
Very impressive. Yes, Hamby, thank you. It's very impressive.
Thank you for your insight. Yeah.
Huh. Well, hopefully Brent can fight through the crypto bots and come out the other side a better Twitter user. But we will see on that. Just talked to Paul Dozier about the Old School Kingfish Shootout, which you can see right here on the network, the weigh-in starting at 2 p.m. On Saturday. Austin, I wore my Bass Pro hat for Hamby today. Are you a proud Bass Pro hat owner, Austen Lane?
I don't wear hats, as you know, Kasey, but I'm going to be honest. I went to my first ever Bass Pro shops a few months ago when I was in Montana snowboarding. And some of my friends I went with who frequently go to Bass Pro shops introduced me to it. Dude, it's wild.
It is.
It's its own little like utopia over there. You can go fishing, you can get guns. It's crazy. I mean, I enjoyed it. Hey, by the way, how many brands of beef jerky do you really need, though? Honestly,
that's fair. I mean, that's actually it goes to Buc-ee's too. Like how isn't there just like a beef?
That's a great point.
Just like beef jerky. That's what we got. I don't know how many you possibly need.
$20 a pound too. I feel like
Beef jerky's a good racket if you could get into it. I'm not sure how you start a beef jerky business, but you're right. You go to Walmart, beef jerky is expensive. You go to Buc-ee's, it's expensive. Like that's a business to get into. Brent's trying to come up with all these stupid ideas like beef jerky. That's the move.
Kasey, you're not wrong, because think about it. Like you can probably buy, and I'm sure Hamby, you know better than anybody. You can buy like a pound of ground beef for what? I don't know, maybe like $9. Okay, $9. There you go. Dude, you can buy a pound of beef jerky, and you're talking like, we're talking like a mortgage payment here for that bad boy. So
that's what I'm saying.
And by the way, Kasey, I can't say this enough. You look, and this is with all due respect, you look like that you are ready to write a country song.
That's what Paul said. He said he looks like Luke Combs.
Yeah.
Dude, he looks like you know what? Maybe the truck broke down. Maybe he has to go get a pint of Jack Daniels. Maybe he's got some heartbreak on his mind. Maybe the AC's isn't low enough for him, but it looks like he's about to write something right now.
Yeah, listen, man.
Get in the lab.
I'm telling you what, like Hamby wants to make fun of the Bass Pro hat. I'm telling you, it adds character. Like this is a new character. This isn't final form, but this is a new character for my my repertoire. Like Luke Combs adjacent. Kasey, like that's where I'm at. And Hamby just hating on it. That's all.
Kasey, did I ever tell you the corporate Steve story about when I was on the morning show?
Corporate Steve? I don't think so.
So when I was on the morning show with Megan, there was this dude, and I can't remember his last name, and he actually passed away, so may he rest in peace. But his name was Steve, and he was like one of the CEOs basically of Cox Media, and he was the dude that actually got Ryan Seacrest like his start. So he's responsible for like Ryan. Yeah, I mean this is like a real heavy hitter.
I kind of remember this person. Yeah.
Yeah. and like a very like eccentric, kind of like a hippie kind of, pounding to the beat of his own drum. Really cool guy. So there was like a lot of pressure because like it was an introduction to him, and like you want to make a good first impression and everything. So I forgot like what it was, but like I was wearing a headband, like it's like a bandana that day. And he listened to like a couple like mock, segments of me and Megan talking. And then he goes, "Hey, Austin, go and tell him about your stuff." I told him just kind of my background and everything and how I got into the radio. And then he goes, "Forget about the background. What's up with that headband?" I go, "Oh, I don't know, man. Just, just something new today. I just figured I'd wear it." He goes, "That's your style now. You're wearing that every single day for the rest of your life." And I'm just like, "Yeah, okay, sounds great, man." Wore it for a week, and then I'm like, dude, I'm not wearing it. Like, it's a little overkill, especially at 5:30 in the morning. So the headband had to get like, put to the side, or like the bandana. But like it was his thing. He was like, "Yeah, you're gonna be like the bandana guy now." I'm like, I don't want to be the bandana guy anymore.
Do we have a picture of you in the bandana anywhere on the phone? Or
Oh, there's has to exist.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Hamby.
if you want to go back on the WAPE, like the old, like, yeah, but you're gonna have to go in the archives, Hamby. You're gonna have to dig some stuff up there, but I'm sure it's on there.
Oh man, Hamby, you got to realize who you're talking to here. This was Megan and Austen in the mornings on Like this was
respect, Hamby.
This was something. Like it was
little respect, Hamby.
Little respect. And listen, I don't know.
I'm looking it up and I'm not finding anything.
Well, hey, because like I said, I'm sure there's a lot of videos, Hamby. You're gonna have to go deep into the archives.
It didn't end well, Hamby. I don't know if you know that part.
Is I've been recognized more still for like that morning show than I have for being a UFC fighter, for being a Jacksonville Jaguar, or for being a co-host on the Brent and Austen show.
Wait, Austin, that's impossible. They told you your ratings weren't that high. Like, how could you possibly begin recognized by people?
Okay, we're not.
What? Listen, I took multiple shots today. I'm trying to burn the whole thing down. Why not? But like, that's what I remember being told. Like, that's but it sounds like you had plenty of listeners, is what I'm hearing. So maybe we should circle back around to that, or maybe we should leave it alone. I don't know.
I'm just gonna let the prosecution rest.
It's a good idea. It's
it's
a good idea. I don't know if you've ever been down this road, by the way, but Hamby at the time would have been like in the prime listening window of the Megan and Austen listenership. Am I wrong there, Hamby? You would have been like, how old are you right now, Hamby?
24.
Yeah, you would have been right there. Like,
oh, Hamby, that was right in your wheelhouse.
Were you listening to Megan and Austen in the morning?
I never listened to radio, period.
Oh.
So Hamby, I'm gonna be honest, man. That's a little surprising because we always called you an old soul.
Yeah,
I feel like somebody with an old soul is gonna listen to radio.
No, I'd pull up to school. It's sophomore, junior year, senior year, listening to Rush, Led Zeppelin.
Yeah,
but I was gonna control the tunes
Mark
at all times.
Sure.
Hamby doesn't get that one, but that's okay.
It's all good. No, we're good.
Oh, is he the guy that just?
Ooh, be careful.
Never mind.
No,
we're all good. Hamby, so like, and dude, like, listen, I respect the Rush. I grew up on Rush. That's because I had a cool stepdad that introduced me to all that great music. Were you kind of like, be honest, were you kind of like, I don't call you an outcast, but like, were your friends into Rush and everything? Like when you're pulling to school, you're blasting Rush. Are other kids like, yeah, like spirit of the radio? Probably not. No.
Everybody else was playing like Travis Scott and Kendrick was like I feel like the two biggest. And when I was in high school,
were you an outcast? Is a crazy question to ask him.
But, and music, but
I just meant, like, nobody was really vibing with Rush. I would have vibed with you if we went to high school together, man. But I understand that's probably a little more of a niche in terms of Rush. That's 100%.
Yeah, I don't think I would have made friends with the kid that showed up listening to Rush, to be completely honest with you.
It's okay, but yeah, we would have played baseball together and we would have been friends still.
There you go.
Yeah, I don't know that. But anyway, hey, speaking of stuff that has nothing to do with anything, and Hamby will get us back to sports somehow, some way. At some point, he's done it 3 times today. It's been pretty incredible stuff.
Master the segue, Jason Hamby.
Dude, he's killed it today. Go back and listen on the podcast or watch the show in its entirety on YouTube, Facebook, because he's just been killing it. But I do want to bring this to your guys' attention. Austen, you're I don't want to say past this point in your career, but this has happened to you, and I'll tell you what it is in a second. It has not yet happened to Hamby. He's on the way. But I am, and this is terrible. This makes me feel like it's almost over for me. Creeping up on the 10-year high school reunion. Is this something that I should attend, Austen? Did you attend? I know you're like a famous person, but like, is this something that you attended or even thought about, or what should I do?
So listen, you got to understand, like when we talk about like where I come from in Iola, Wisconsin, population 1,300, we had 59 kids in our we had 59 kids in our class, but only 54 made it to graduation because, there was some arrests and everything during senior week. Couldn't walk. It is what it is. You live some, you learn some, whatever. You win some, you lose some. But I think we had a 10-year anniversary. I'm going to be honest. For what? Why would I go to an anniversary when Instagram exists? Why would I go to a 10-year anniversary when Facebook exists? Like I felt like the whole reason for a 10-year anniversary is to go back and like check in on people to see how they're doing, what's new, do they have kids, are they married, are they divorced, yada yada yada. I can just go on Facebook now on social media and see all that. So I'm all set. So I feel like honestly the reunions have kind of died out a little bit because I still have the homies from back home that I talk to all the time that I grew up with, I went to school with. And like, yeah, we're still tight and everything, but I don't need to see like, the girl that I sat like 2 seats down in history class with to see how she's doing. I see her on Instagram. She's doing okay.
Sounds like you're still thinking about it, which is interesting. But nonetheless, Hamby, is this?
Here's an example, Kasey.
Okay, I'm just checking. Hey, listen, you all right? Fair enough. Hamby, is this something you would attend, or should I go?
I definitely wouldn't attend if I had to travel for it.
Okay.
I just don't.
You don't like those people enough.
Well, it's not that I don't like them. It's like if I actually care, though, then I'll just call you or I'll shoot you a text. Like I'm still at the point where, like, I'm sure I have pretty much everybody's contacts still in my phone.
Yeah.
No, I'm sure there would be a couple of people there that I'd like have an interesting conversation with. I still don't think that's worth the travel.
Okay.
Obviously, I'll probably still be living in Jacksonville at the time, or at least hope to be. So that might sway it that way, but it'll probably come down to what it came down to whenever we were actually in high school at the time, and whether I went to something is, are the homies pulling up or not? And if they're not pulling up, there's no shot I'm going to go.
Okay.
But if they go, then I might show up.
All right. Fair
Depends on what the food situation is like.
The food situation?
Yeah, I mean, dude.
Okay. All right. How many kids were in your graduating class, Hamby?
98.
Where did you go to school?
I went to Providence.
Providence, man.
Dude, I had 500
Yeah,
in my
you went
class.
to a public school. I went to a private school.
Huh.
I mean, I went to public too, but
there just was nobody there.
Public in nowhere. Yeah, it's middle nowhere. I mean, Kasey, what were you leaning towards? Because let me ask you this then, Kasey. If you're contemplating it, I want to ask you, what are you trying to get out of this? Because I hate to tell you, like, you aren't gonna get friends out of this. Like,
no, I hate those people.
Yeah, so whoever your friends are now, like, and Hamby, you're gonna realize this when you get older, because I get you're an old soul, but you're still young, like in the grand scheme of things. Who your friends are right now is who you got.
Yeah.
Okay. Like you aren't gonna like. It's not like Pokemon where you just go out there and try to find like you
gotta catch them all.
New friends. No. Like what you got is what you got.
Yeah.
So like you're not gonna expect to pull up to this reunion, Kasey, and be like, oh hey, I want to make a new friend. So then what are we talking about? Why are we gone?
Yeah, no, listen, I'm just exploring my options, trying to figure out what I should do when this pops up. I will confirm I do hate those people, most of them. 500 kids in the class, 498 of them probably sucked. But, like, to be honest, I was thinking maybe roll up. They'll be like, oh, what you doing now? I'll be like, Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network. I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right.
There we go.
One of those.
I'm the Thanos. Yep, I'm Thanos.
But then, like, that kind of lands flat when someone's like, oh, I'm a lawyer. Oh, I'm a doctor. I'm like, I'm leaving. You know what I mean? So, I'm only going if I can show up some people I didn't like. Like, that's my whole gimmick.
Oh,
But I don't really have much to show, I guess, because this probably doesn't carry weight outside of this building, and even there's some people in here that don't care. So, might just skip it. But all right, I was just.
What about teachers though?
What about them?
I don't know. I feel like there's some teachers that I'd rather go talk to than like people, like classmates.
No.
Oh, okay, maybe just me.
I mean, if there's only 50 of y'all, like, you probably had good relationships with the teachers.
Yeah.
I mean, there's 500 of us. The teachers were trying to get through the day without like medicating.
That's a good point.
I mean, it was a wild place. But anyway, what you said? What you got, Austin?
Oh, I got a question for you, Kasey. So, big school,
massive.
Would anybody famous from your school pull up where you can get an autograph? No. Okay.
No. The best. I hate to say this. The best chance of a famous person we got is sitting in this chair that I'm sitting in. And that's
all right.
That's a tough situation because, it's me. But, Palmetto High School not cranking out the most famous of famous that have ever walked Earth. So,
gotcha. Okay.
But I respect the idea. Listen, it's all about the business at the end of the day. So, all right. Well, I'll take that into consideration, fellas. I appreciate it. And we'll see where we go. Hamby, anything going from high school reunions to anything else?
Well, the fact of the matter is that your school was really big. Mine was not very big, and then Austin's was little. And
I know where he's going.
Go ahead and tell you right now that Action Sports Jack's Marcel Robinson talked one-on-one with Walker Little yesterday. So here that is right now, the starting left tackle for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
All right, good to go? Yep. All right, man, so the first one, obviously 2 days in the mini camp, OTAs and the books and everything. Just talk about kind of, where you feel you guys are at and kind of what's the feel like in this, new era.
Yeah, I definitely can talk, a lot about the offense. I think we really feel like we're gelling as a unit. It's definitely a lot of new things we've learned, and Liam's brought in a lot of new schemes and things to us, which is great. I think it's really going to help us. We've been feeling it out in these last few weeks. I feel like it's really been coming together. We've been having plays and adjustments that have really been looking good on film. So, we're excited about it.
Obviously, everything starts up front, with you guys. You just was sticking with the offense. A lot of moving parts. The puzzle's kind of been shifted around. Again, nothing you're a stranger to here in Jacksonville. But, as far as gelling together to get that line be building as one unit, where do you feel like you guys are there?
Yeah, I think we've been doing a good job. Obviously, everything changes once we get pads on and really start getting into it. But so far this off season into mini camp this week, I feel like we've really been coming together as a unit. Really been figuring out a lot of things and playing well.
You talked about obviously the pads coming on, but what can you accomplish? Because of course you guys play with pads. The trenches, you really can't kind of judge the trenches until you guys get in pads. But during this sort of, we'll call it an acclimation period, if you will, is that sort of like the the focus to really kind of just get the gel together and get the mental reps?
Yeah, I would say the mental reps. So I think there's a lot of things you can still do physically, just making sure you're in the right position, feet are in the right place, hands are in the right place, and just really making sure you're knowing what you're doing when plays and calls and adjustments are called. Things happen fast out there, and you need a lot of reps. So that when it happens, live in the game and pressure moments, it's second nature. So that's really what this time's for.
You're a guy that's, obviously craves some stability. The offensive line, of course, the more stable you're on the offensive line, the better, playing together and everything. But, with, the new coaches, new GM, kind of new era, new generation of Jacks football, if you will, do you feel like you're kind of headed towards that, a little bit of a stable role for yourself?
Yeah, for sure. I think for myself, and I think just as a unit, I think we have a lot of really good groups, and a lot of really good guys in our group, I should say. And I think we're going to have, a stable O-line that's really going to be able to perform well week in and week out.
Just want to ask you about one of the new guys. We'll talk about Fred Johnson, just kind of picking him up. Where is he at? You had some time to kind of get next to him, play with him a little bit. Where is he fitting in? Is he kind of gelling in, or where are you guys at?
Yeah. Fred's been great, man. Obviously he was with the Eagles last year, and they had a lot of success, and he's brought a lot of that to us. Just, he's a lot of energy. Obviously a massive guy, and he's playing really good football out here for us.
You just led me right into my next point. He's a guy that has been to the top of the mountain, freshly to the top of the mountain, right? What from that experience has he been able to kind of relay to you guys? Maybe some tips, some pointers, or whatever. Just even if it's just a mindset that you can kind of sit on to help you guys this year.
Yeah, I think obviously a guy that's just come off of a Super Bowl win. That's obviously what we're all trying to get to, and I think he's been able to share some tips and tricks he's learned from being with the Eagles and being with that O-line. So it's really been helping us, and he's been a great addition to our unit.
Getting back to you, I hesitate using the term fresh start, but because you've put in so much work here, you kind of don't want to be on a fresh start this deep into your career, of course. But do you feel like kind of having a fresh set of eyes, a fresh set of coaching staff to take a look at you to really kind of get everyone's based on the ground floor, kind of give you a fair chance to be able to really get yourself in a solidified position on the line?
Yeah, no, I think we're all kind of on a fresh start here. It's a whole new coaching staff, obviously a whole new front office, so. we're all trying to earn spots and show that we can help this team and help this team win. So yeah.
One of the big things that we hear from every player that I've talked to is just the energy. It's a new energy. You've been around here, so you felt the previous energy, the previous locker rooms, but they say just everything just feels different. The players want to come out here is the one thing that I've heard a lot of players say. Does that translate for you guys in the trenches as well?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think there's a lot of good energy, in our O-line room and as an offense as a whole. I think guys are hungry to win around here and hungry to learn this new offense. We got a lot of trust in Coach Coen and Coach Udinski and the whole staff on the offense side of the ball. And I think they're going to get us in good spots to help us succeed.
Last one for you. You talked about it. This is an offensive line. This is an offense that, some say it's a little complicated. It's a little tough. But obviously, tough is not necessarily a bad thing. Where do you guys feel you are as an entire offensive unit and learning that offense to really be able to come out here and perfect it? Of course, because you've seen what's happened when it's done right from the previous stop.
Yeah, no, I think we've done a really good job of learning a lot this offseason. They definitely installed a lot on us, put a lot on us, but they've done a great job of bringing guys in that are smart enough to know the system and are excited to learn it. So I think we have a group that's learning on the fly, and we'll be ready to go by week 1 for sure.
Little left tackle, the Jacksonville Jaguars. The one thing that I was going to say to you earlier, Hamby, and by the way, nice job to get us there. Once again, you did not let us down in the transition of transitions. But who do we have earlier? Lequint Allen?
Laquent Allen, yep.
So, like in Travis Hunter, they very rarely look tired from practice. Lequint Allen looked like he could go another practice and be no problem. Walker Little looks like he went through some stuff today or yesterday. Walker Little looked like he was happy that practice had concluded. And I guess that's an offensive line thing, Austen. But I don't know. It looked like Walker Little had been through everything he could get through yesterday and made it out alive.
No, great interview by Marcel Robinson. I always felt like, when you're playing in the trenches a little bit, man, I think it's a little more taxing. You're a little more, bigger bodied and everything. And I'm not up there right now, but I assume it's just as hot up there as it is down here. So it's probably a little toasty. You're sweating a lot. You're exerting a lot of energy. And I'm going to be honest, man, when I was in those situations, the last thing I wanted to do was do a 10-minute interview. But he did fantastic, man. Marcel did great with the questions. Great interview. I just decided if I ever find myself in that role like Marcel Robinson was one day, if I'm 5 minutes in, instead of saying all right, one last question for you, I'm gonna be all right, 25 more questions for you, and then we'll get out of here. I want to see the reaction or whatever. But you kind of see with the demeanor of Walker Little, very approaching, but also you can kind of tell he's got a little bit of that, I don't want to say nastiness, right? But he's got a little bit of just that dog in him. I think he's, once again, he's not standoffish, but he seems like an intense individual is what you want on that offensive line.
Definitely. And we talked about this a little bit earlier to start the show, me and Hamby. We talked a little bit about Anton Harrison, but where my question with this and coaching from last year, and I understand you were a defensive lineman, but in terms of offensive line and what you can teach on the offensive line, right? I played it a little bit in high school and I was terrible, no shot. So I don't, I got nothing for you here. But is there significantly different schools of thought when coaching the offensive line? In teams you were on, did you guys bring in coaches that were everything you just learned, bump that? Because Walker Little, he's had to deal with a lot, as you know, I don't need to tell you, and the different positions. And Anton Harrison, where we really got earlier today was Liam Coen had a somewhat interesting comment about Anton Harrison. We can see there's talent there, but the place I kept going back to is it felt like they weren't happy with the coaching job that the previous regime did with their offensive line. Is that a thing? Are there just different ways to teach it?
Yeah, absolutely. Because I think, there is some similarities between offensive line and defensive line in terms of coaching. I think both are based in your fundamentals, right? So if you look at offensive line, it's a lot about footwork. It's all about contact balance. It's all about hand placement, right? And then from there, you can try to attack those things in a variety of ways. And to me, that's what separates a great offensive line coach from a mediocre offensive line, like a mediocre offensive line coach. It's what are you doing to address the finite details? For instance, going back on the defensive side of the ball, I played for a guy in Joe Cullen who was very intense, who would try to get the best out of you. Now, a lot of that intensity, like, yeah, did he try to teach the basics too as well and the fundamentals? Sure, but I think that was more on us to figure it out ourselves than it was actually for Joe Coen to slow things down and show us, because he was all about making you feel uncomfortable and pushing you as hard as he could push you. When I get to like a team, let's say like a team like the Bears, where at the time it was Pasquale was like our defensive line coach, but he was a little older, so he had a bunch of assistants. One of the assistants, his name was Clint Hurt. And I think Clint Hurt might be the linebackers coach in Philly. But before that, he was the defensive coordinator in Seattle, and he was a former player. And I think he did a great job. The way he's had so much success, Kasey, is because he related to the players and he knows what we needed, right? Where you don't have to be swearing and cussing 24/7. Sometimes you got to slow things down to drive the point home. And I think the same thing can be said for offensive line. Like where I said, like, you can teach it a million ways, but it's still the basic fundamentals, right? So depending how a coach gets those thoughts across, depending what kind of drills that coach does, can have a direct correlation of how great that offensive line is. Now, yes, play calling comes into play. Are you going to be a power blocking offensive line? You be a zone blocking? Like that all goes into it as well. But I think for a lot of the times we forget, like, if offensive does bad, all right, it's the coordinator's fault, or it's the play caller's fault. If a defense does bad, oh, it's all Ryan Nielsen. No, man, like there's like they share the blame because you have the title of coordinator, so yes, you share that blame, but it all comes down to position coaches as well. And I feel like sometimes position coaches get a free pass. They fly underneath the radar a little bit because, okay, well, I know this coordinator, so my job is safe. And I've said this before, Kasey. I don't say I played for, but I've seen a bunch of position coaches that had no business being in the NFL.
Yeah.
And I've seen a bunch of position coaches, and I played for a bunch of position coaches that should have been coordinators, that could have been head coaches because they're that talented. Like sometimes it doesn't matter how great of a coach you are, it matters about who you know.
Yeah, you know what's funny about that, and there's something else I want to get to, but the first time you told me that was actually the last episode of Overtime with Kurtz and Middleton. Right after that, I got fired, but I was going to make a clip out of that when you said that to me because I was like, wow, that's super interesting. And then I got canned, and I was like, forget it, I ain't making no damn clip. But it still, to me, blows my mind today, and like I know you're right, but it's just, it's wild that the NFL can work like your local neighborhood Dunkin' Donuts, where like if you know the manager, you might be able to make the coffee. It's wild.
Yeah, I mean, isn't it wild where you talk about a performance-based business where it's supposed to be all about wins and losses, and that's your resume, and still some of the best guys don't get hired because they don't know the right people. It's baffling to me.
Crazy. I do have another question off of what you just said to ask you, but Hamby just gave me the please go to commercial break thing that, because I'm actually going to follow the rules, right? Brent?
Yeah. Let's go ahead and tease it then.
He'll screw everything up. So, but I'm going to stay on track here, and I'm going to hit the breaks we need to hit, and I'm going to listen to what Hamby has to say. But when we come back, you were just talking about kind of how you felt in terms of being coached by certain defensive coordinators and getting your point across. And me and Hamby had a conversation yesterday before you were on, going off of what Jarian Jones said about how he can have conversations with Liam Coen and other things. I thought it was a good conversation me and Hamby were having, but I want to get your take on how important it is, the relationship and how the players feel, especially this day and age with position coaches, coordinators, and then ultimately the head coach. So we will do that when we come back on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network. Austen Lane is with us. Jason Hamby in the booth. His team is playing baseball without him, and they're still figuring out ways to get W's. Hamby, job security at the baseball team might not be super safe because they're winning without him, but we'll double check on that before we get out of here on a Thursday. Stick with us. One segment to go. We'll be right back.
Most of us know how to throw. But you need to know what to throw. I'm not talking about footballs, baseballs, softballs. We're talking about those items you need to recycle. Republic Services explains it easy. Recycling simplified. 1. Know what to throw. When in doubt, throw it out. 2. Empty, clean, and dry those materials. It takes an extra minute, but it makes a big difference. And 3, don't bag it. This makes the recycling process faster and more efficient. This is a look at the Republic Services North Florida Recycling Center. You can make this process even more efficient. By utilizing those 3 steps, Republic Services can help you become a better recycler in your home. Learn more at recyclingsimplified.com.
For the game day hustle and every day in between, juggling my show Jag Social to going under the Friday night lights and a social life, it's a daily tournament. But this ride, MVP status. The all-new 2024 Lincoln Nautilus isn't just my car, it's my personal locker room, office on the go, and VIP lounge on wheels. Let's talk tech. My profile remembers everything from customizing my dash display to setting the ambient lighting and my signature scent. And wireless charging, essential for live tweeting scores. Whether I'm packing for a beach day with friends or heading to the gym, there's space for every passion. After dominating all day, this becomes my recovery zone. The massage feature is like having a personal PT on call. Life's a non-stop game, but with this ride, I'm always on my A game. The 2024 Lincoln Nautilus. Drive your passion.
You trust CGC to make your water great, and now you can trust CGC with your plumbing needs as well. Fast, convenient scheduling, licensed and insured. A quick call away at 904-552-1242. You never know when you're going to have an issue with a shower, toilet, or maybe it's a sink that sometimes is easy to fix. All right, let's be honest. I'm not fixing anything. I'm totally staging this because when I have a plumbing problem, I call CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing. Trained professionals, transparent pricing, customer satisfaction. Small problem or even a bigger issue. Save 10% off any water heater plus no trip charge. The experts with 25 years of experience at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing can do it all. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. For a limited time, CGC is waiving the trip charge on all related plumbing calls. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1432579.
If you look good, you feel good. And the medical professionals here at Ponte Vedra Vein and Aesthetics are here to make you feel your best. I'm on camera every week, and I have a confession to make. I'm not always confident in my appearance. Can you see my dark circles? Is my makeup highlighting my fine lines instead of covering them up? I question it all. So when I found out about the wide variety of procedures here at Ponte Vedra Vein and Aesthetics, I knew help was just one appointment away. Medical Director Dr. Megan Deacon Casey and her board-certified physicians have been using the latest in cutting-edge technology for the last 10 years, giving men and women their personal confidence boost. From Botox, fillers, Morpheus 8, and so much more. The hardest part was figuring out what I needed. Thankfully, the medical team walked me through what would work best for me through a free consultation. Come look and feel your best with the team here at Ponte Vedra Vein and Aesthetics. Visit them at one of their 2 locations, either over in Ponte Vedra or on the south side.
Welcome inside the Armor Guard exterior and gutter helmet showroom. There's a lot going on, like glass exteriors, replacement windows, and down there we have the retractable screens and awnings, plus hurricane protection. Let's talk more about those gutters, and to do that, we bring in Kevin. He's the owner, he's the expert. Why Gutter Helmet?
Well, Gutter Helmet's truly the only maintenance-free product. It lets the trash and debris go on the ground, the water wraps around and goes inside. Unlike filters, they sit on top of the gutters, and the trash and debris build up on top of filters, which requires maintenance. With Gutter Helmet, we're going to keep you off the ladder, the most dangerous thing in your garage. With Gutter Helmet, you'll never clean your gutters again. So get off the ladder and put on the helmet. Gutter Helmet.
Get a free estimate at gutterhelmetofnorthflorida.com. You can also call 904-762-7779 or visit the showroom on St. John's Bluff Road in Jacksonville.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austen Show, streaming on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network.
2 o'clock today, live. Action Sports Jax 24/7 network, presented by Alive. You can watch live. Presented by Alive Credit Union. Fleet and Footy, the Jacksonville Armada. Lou, been holding it down without Stuart Weber. Stuart Weber returns, I believe. Check your local listings. Check in with Hamby around 2. And Stuart Weber supposedly will be back in the fold for Fleet and Footy as the Jacksonville Armada men's and women's teams both win this past weekend. You can see the men in action on Saturday, 7 o'clock on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network, but Fleet and Footy coming up in just a little bit where you are watching right now on social media as well. Jason Hamby in the booth has dropped his hat. I know you can't see him, but he's hatless Hamby at this point. He's got it in his hand. I'm not sure what that says, but bro is hatless to conclude this final edition for him this week of the show. Austen Lane in South Florida. I'm still rocking the Bass Pro hat just to make Hamby mad. I think that's why he dropped off the show there for a little bit because he's upset about the Bass Pro hat situation, but that's okay. We will power through. All right, so back to the tease. I'm going to do something that doesn't get done a lot here on the show. Talking to you, Brent. I'm going to tease something, and I'm going to come back to it. Yeah. It's new around here. Anyway, so yesterday, we're listening to Jarian Jones, right? And Jarian Jones says many things, but the part that caught our attention, me and Hamby, was he said, I can go up to Liam Coen and have like a real conversation. And I was like, that's interesting, because I think that tells you what he couldn't do with the old coaching staff. But later in the sound, you hear Jarian Jones say that he feels like the coaching staff cares about him. And I was like, well, that's pretty loud. And then me and Hamby went on a 20-minute spin of that. And in this day and age, like, this is why, in our opinions, like, the Belichicks don't work, right? It's why it's going to be a super interesting thing to watch at North Carolina, because there's now a management of how your team like feels and responds. And I'm not saying that hasn't always been there, but I feel like it's at the forefront now more than ever. So the first thing I ask you this is, Austen, I believe Liam Coen, the most important thing he has to balance this year is that. It's not how to call football plays and how to do that. I think it's managing that his team feels like he cares about them as people, but also setting that line of, you can ask me this at 3 p.m., but 9 a.m., we got to be locked into football. Is that kind of how you see this thing right now with the Jags and Liam Coen?
It's a great point, and I'm glad we're talking about this. I have spoken about this a little bit, but not to this in depth. So let me go and ask you a question, Kasey.
Sure.
Let's go back to the old sports show. Let's go back to a guy by the name of Kuz.
Oh, sure.
And then let's go back to maybe, like, we'll say a program director or one of your bosses. Now, if Kuz called you up, or one of your program directors or your bosses called you up and said, hey, man, I need a favor. Can you take me to the airport? Can you help me out? Well, whatever the case may be. I need a favor. Can you get here immediately? Which person are you going to help out more? Kuz, the program director, the boss, or is it exactly the same?
It is not exactly the same.
Answer wisely.
I'm answered. All I could do, Hamby, is tell the truth, and the truth is I would give Kuz a ride at first and foremost. That's what I'm saying.
And to be fair, like, it wasn't like you worked with Kuz every single day, but you probably communicated with both people maybe around the same. Dealt with them probably the same. Okay, so then let's ask the question. Why did you answer the question like that? And I think I have the answer, and I don't want to speak for you, but I'm going to assume I'm going to speak for you here, and correct me if I'm wrong. I think with Kuz, you had more of a common ground because it felt like you're in it together. I think with the program director or whoever we want to talk about, they made it feel like they're running the show and you're underneath them. And it's the same thing that can be applied to an NFL locker room, right? I encountered this when I played in the NFL, and it was one of the reasons why I felt like I kind of got burnt out right away, because I'm very big on respect, but I'm also very big on being yourself. And immediately when I got to Jacksonville, I'll never forget this. Like, I think it was the second day of practice, and there's an assistant coach walking by me, and they go, "Hey, what's going on, man?" Yeah, just saying, "Hey, what's up?" That's how I talked. Mel Tucker, defensive coordinator at the time, goes, "What'd you just say?" I said, "What's up, man? Like, how you doing?" He goes, No, you call him sir. What do you talk like? What do you think you are? So it was like, oh, I got to call him sir, right? And that immediately like, and I get like I'm a rookie, right? I got to earn my stripes, all this stuff, but like that moment right there, it kind of left a bad taste in my mouth. And I think when I reflect back on my career and the coaches that I've had, the best one by far, and I've talked about him before on the show, is my defensive line coach in college, Johnny Jernigan. The only reason I got to the NFL was because of him. And, did they say a decent coach can win you games? A great coach can change your life. He changed my life because I get in day one, a chip on my shoulder, an attitude, and I'm expecting, get this bleeping, and he sat us all down as defensive line room. There's some veterans there, but a lot of young guys. And he said, here's what's going to happen. You're going to hear a lot of language, a lot of curse words being thrown on that field. I promise you won't hear it from me because I was once in your shoes. I was once a player as well, and I didn't like being sworn at. I didn't like getting cussed out. I didn't like being embarrassed. So then why would I turn it around and do it to you guys? And that moment right there started a relationship, started a camaraderie, really became a father figure to me, man, honestly, because he made it appear like we're on the same level, like we're in this together. And when you talk about the game of football, man, and I get, these players are getting a lot of money and they're taking care of their families and everything, it is still a violent game. And a lot of guys go into it and they leave and they're never the same again, whether it's physically or mentally. Okay. So when you have an opportunity as a coach to put yourself on the same plane and not rule with an iron fist, but say, hey, guys, we're in this together. I need you just like you need me. Well, then you got something special. And I'll never forget, Joe Coen once said this. It can't be a family though, right? Because one time we had a guy break it down on family. He goes, hey, family on three, family on three. And Joe Coen goes, what the hell are you breaking it down on family for? It's not a family. And we're all kind of confused, like, well, he's my brothers. And and he goes, because in a family, you don't cut people. You don't say goodbye to people. Even the very worst person in your family, you got to drag them along until you can't anymore. So it's a brotherhood, right? And that's what football is. And when you talk about a brotherhood, it's all about being on the same plane. Whether you're a Hall of Fame candidate or whether you're the last person on that team, you got to find that common ground. And then when we talk about coaches, I think coaches that can go ahead and say, you know what? Yeah, sometimes they got to motivate you and maybe, chew you out a little bit. But guys, we're in this together. It's not just my show. It's all of us together. That's something special. And I think when we talk about Doug Peterson, what you had last year, we didn't see that. I think you had a team in Jacksonville that was longing for someone just to go, hey, guys, we're in this together. But it seemed like it was Doug Peterson, it was Trent Baalke, and then it was the Jacksonville Jaguars team. And nobody was on the same page. And I think coming here now with the conglomerate of Tony Baselli, with James Gladstone, who's always singing the praises of the players, and Liam Coen, who's speaking the same tune, that's going to show you like, hey, I understand like these are macho, tough, physical players that play the game of football. It's extremely violent. But every once in a while, they're human beings as well. And every single human being wants to hear, hey, you're doing a great job. Hey, we appreciate what you're doing. And that's what you're seeing here, I think, with this new regime.
It's good stuff. It's really good stuff. Now, from that, I want to ask you this. And listen, you can count head coaches here, that's fine. But in terms of defensive coordinators, position coaches, wherever you want to go, but coaches that you immediately conversated with on your time as a football player. And you don't have to name names. Now, I'm messy, right? You could, if you want to name names, I'm with you, right? I'll stand right here with you.
Casey's going to clip it. Be like, you'll never believe what Austen Lane said about this coach.
Listen, I get paid off the impression, so like it wouldn't hurt. But you obviously don't have to do that. You mentioned Joe Coen there, and I know how you feel about Joe Coen, and I fully believe that he will be one on your list here. But with that, how many coaches do you truly feel cared about Austen Lane, the human being, as much or equal to the person that they had on their football team wearing number 92?
So I'm going to tell you another quick story. And if you want to talk about a coach and I just talked about him. I'm talking about him again. If you want to talk about a coach who honestly cared, who didn't have to, but honestly cared, that's Clint Hurt. And there's two separate stories here. So for the first story, it kind of falls under the same time frame. So at the time, Clint Hurt was a defensive line assistant. We had Paul Pasquale, who was more of an older guy who just kind of stuck to his own thing, do it this way, do this way. And Clint was more of the guy like that would actually like, teach us things and like kind of reiterate things a little bit. And there's two separate stories where in reflection, after I retired, I'm like, wow, that dude was special. So the first story, it's like it's the last week of the preseason, and I'm on the scout team, and we're getting like the ones ready for their regular season game. And me and Kyle Long starting, I think at the time I think he's a right guard, starting right guard, Kyle Long, first round pick. We get into it, and we get thrown off the field. And Mark Trestman, the head coach at the time, throws us off the field. I throw my helmet because I'm pissed because I felt like I was done wrong. Because literally, like the whistle blew, he kept on pushing me. I'm like, dude, what? It's a walk, and we're in a walkthrough, Kasey. By the way, this isn't like pads. We're just wearing helmets.
That's crazy.
We start going at it. We start throwing fists. We get thrown out of practice. I'm pissed because like I need to make good impressions at practice, and I'm getting thrown out. So I take my helmet, I throw it across the field. Coach Hurt sees this and starts like, like what the? And granted, in retrospect, I shouldn't have threw my helmet. I was acting like a child. But, Coach Hurt, disappointed in me, starts shooting me out in front of everybody. I'm pissed. Walk back to the locker room. I'm in my locker. Coach Hurt comes up to me, goes, hey, let me see in my office quick. All right, cool. Keep in mind, this is an assistant coach, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
He sits me down. He goes, I owe you an apology. And I go, what are you talking about? He's like, I watched the film back. I watched what Kyle did to you. And you being a man, you stood up for yourself and you stood up for your teammates. And he goes, I appreciate that. And he told me, I wish more guys had your heart and had your attitude on this team. We'd be a lot better off. All right, so cool. Now fast forward a couple more days, and we're getting ready to play the Cleveland Browns on the last preseason game of the season. There's 4 preseason games. Well, obviously, talk about preseason games, the starters aren't playing, right? So Trestman decided, our head coach decided that we aren't going to game prep for the Cleveland Browns. We're just going to get ready for week 1 for the Bears and not worry about, like the second, third stringers. So meanwhile, I'm kind of like, well, dude, I'm still trying to make a team. And I can't even like see like what we're playing against in the Cleveland Browns. So we have the team meeting. Hey guys, I forgot who we're playing even week 1. I think we're playing like Detroit or something. So hey, here's Detroit. Here's what they're doing, everything. I'm just sitting there like, dude, I don't even care about this game right now because I'm trying to get ready for Cleveland, right? So I'm walking out. Coach Hurt takes all the defensive linemen, like the 2s and 3s. He goes, guys, come here. And he goes, I don't agree with this. I think this is BS. He goes, you guys are just as important as everybody else is on this team. And you aren't getting the proper treatment. You aren't getting the preparation that you deserve. So he's like, after this practice, come into my office. We're going to watch film. I'm going to break it down for you, the Cleveland Browns, and we're going to get you guys ready to play at your best so you can show up and put some good tape out there. An assistant coach. Literally like almost like an intern that has his own family, his kids and everything, decided, you know what? I want to treat these guys as equals. I'm going to bring, so that's what we did. So practice was over. It was a walkthrough, obviously, right? Practice was over. Coach Hurt brings us in and goes, all right, we got an hour here. Let's start breaking down this film on Cleveland. And that to me, Kasey, is a prime example of a guy who cares.
Yeah.
Because let's be honest, he was getting us ready, even though he knew 70% of us weren't making the team, but he had enough respect to sacrifice time out of his busy schedule away from his family to go, these guys bust their ass just like everybody else does in this team, so let's treat them accordingly. That's the sign of a great coach.
That's good. I knew you'd have some good answers for me, so that's why I'm glad we got those in. And now, to bring it full circle, Jason Hamby, what did you just learn from those stories? Hat going on. What did you learn from stories about coaching that you are going to take this weekend and go coach your baseball team and make them better? What'd you learn today, Hamby?
That
oh no,
we might need to spend a little bit more time in the cage because I don't always spend an amazing amount of time because I've gotten to the point where these guys know what we expect and they can kind of handle it themselves. They're 15. go to the cage, get your work in for a few minutes. I mean, we show up 45 minutes before a game. This is travel ball.
Yeah.
But no, in all seriousness, I learned that I need to be willing to admit wrong.
Okay.
More often.
Okay.
Than maybe I have in the past.
Look at that. That's growth. Development. How about that? You taught him something today, Austen.
But if I call a perfect game, I'm still
glad,
going to let him
man.
know.
I thought he was going to turn that head around and show me the Atlanta Braves logo, and all of a sudden it's going to be, bad news for me and the Brewers.
Snicker could learn a lot more than from your coach than I could.
So you're, just to confirm, you're a better coach than Braves manager Brian Snicker. I just want to get that.
This year.
Today, right now, if you were coaching the Braves, they'd be a better baseball team.
Yes.
Okay. All right. I'm just making sure we got that.
Because I wouldn't sit there like a robot.
No!
When our team's getting screwed over, and I go fight for my players.
Woo!
Get him, Hamby.
And that's gotta hurt. That's gotta hurt, Austen, because I think the Braves took 2 out of 3.
They did. Oh yeah, they sure did. Absolutely.
We got to get out of here.
The Milwaukee Brewers. We got to go, Austen. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Jason Hamby, good luck down in Orlando with the baseball tournament.
Get him, Hamby.
Fleet and Footy coming up in just a little bit on the network. Young and Norvell after that. Scrap House replay. Check that out. Me and Austen, we're talking wrestling. We got to go. We'll finish up a week next week. Have a good day, everybody.
There's a saying in sports. You can't win them all, but you can win a lot with good folks on your team. Like that one painter, First Coast. It's tough to beat the sun in Florida, so your home fades. It's tough to beat that HOA when they come calling. Beat the sun, beat the HOA with that one painter, First Coast. And it's a good time to do it. Less rain to work around, and painting in mild temperatures is perfect. After all, the paint bonds to the surface so much better. Give that one painter First Coast a call at 904-417-3557 or look them up at first-coast.thatonepainter.com. Fast estimate, guidance on color and HOA requirements, and the highest quality job you'll find anywhere. Be a big winner in your neighborhood with that one painter First Coast on your team.
People helping people. It's at the core of what Alive Credit Union is all about, and it's been that way for over 70 years. From the start in 1954 to today, the mission remains to inspire financial wellness and give you a financially fit lifestyle. Alive Credit Union and its employees are committed to not only serving their valued members, but also our community here in Northeast Florida. I had a chance to see that commitment firsthand as Alive partnered with our Action Sports Jacks 24/7 team to bring you Armada men's and women's soccer broadcasts. Inside the 18, it is a shot, and it's a goal! Chloe Chivers! And that connection to the community continues with Alive Credit Union's support of the Police Athletic League of Jacksonville. Alive Credit Union's commitment to our community also involves serving the financial needs of all first responders through the recent merger partnership with City and Police Federal Credit Union. Join the community and become a member of Alive Credit Union today. Find out the many ways you can be inspired in financial wellness at alivecu.coop.
It's fast-paced.
Hands off on first down, and there goes Edward Vander.
High fly.
Wide open receiver. It's caught.
Action-packed, weekend fun. Fun for the entire family. It's the Jacksonville Sharks.
I feel like anybody could play in this league. It's gotta be like backyard football, right?
Whoa! This ain't the Arena League, Brent. This is the indoor league, and they play defense here.
It's a lot safer to just watch the professionals play. And watching is a lot of fun. A party in the stands at the arena for kids and adults. And it's indoors. Get out of the heat for the summer and watch the Sharks shine inside. Jacksonville Sharks football, season number 15. It's the drive for 5, and it's still alive. Get your tickets at jacksharks.com.
Are you about to graduate high school and haven't decided on what you want to do when you get done? Well, one option is to apply to become a student in the Electrical Training Alliance of Jacksonville. Their program offers structured classroom and online training, along with on-the-job training so that you can earn while you learn. Still not convinced? The folks at ETA Jacks are a tuition-free 4-year apprenticeship program. There is no tuition,
and no student debt. Just pay for your books and your fees. That's it. Now, speaking of pay, students, they start off making $40,000 per year, including benefits, and they graduate, get this, making over $80,000 per year, including those sought-after benefits. Now, that sounds pretty good to me, and if that sounds good to you, it should check off a lot of boxes. So head on over to etajax.org and apply by May 15th. Again, the website right here, etajax.org. Don't wait, apply today.